Hi, hello. um, I'm I'm trying to process. I'm so I was looking through the chat and I'm just trying to process the idea of Detective Dick Gumshoe of Ace Attorney fame having a famous ancestor from Joseon period Korea. Hey, 안녕하세요. 내 이름은 Dick Gumshoe입니다. 나는 detective. Hello. So I'm just the idea. It's like, are we headcanoning that Gumshoe is Korean now? Because I've always thought of him as like a tried and true New York boy from the streets of Brooklyn in Japan, America. Yeah, my dad was from the Joseon region. Joseon's not a region, it's a time period. Thanks for checking in, John. Hello. Glad Force, good to see you. Otto, I'm glad you're here. So, yes, this is Suhoshin. It is a murder mystery visual novel I found, made by a French studio, actually. He grew up with Western Pulp Fiction and made it a key part of... He grew up on detective noir crime stories the same way Revolver Ocelot grew up with spaghetti westerns. The mental image I just got of Dick Gumshoe and Revolver Ocelot. Can't say long. Hope well, thank you for stopping by anyways. I really appreciate that, Otto. I hope you're having a good Friday. But I just want to say, the immediate mental image of Dick Gumshoe and Revolver Ocelot being in a film club together is now... Stray, hello! I can't stop thinking about that now. Dick Gumshoe and Revolver Ocelot together in college film club or something like that. He's a big fan of Dick Tracy. The Dick in his name is just, oh yeah. Like, he actually has a completely different first name, but he was such a big fan, he went by Dick enough that everyone just started calling him Dick and it stuck. So yeah, ironically enough, this game was actually made by a French studio. It is set in the Joseon period of Korean history, which I'm sure there's an artist online that will draw them watching classic westerns and noir movies. This is it. This is what motivates me to learn how to draw finally, wanting to draw this image. So this is technically a sagek piece. Sagek is basically a term for like historical period story, kind of like a jidaigeki piece in Japanese, although jidaigeki also refers to a specific time period. So in terms, I do know this game does come with explanations for a lot of the terms and whatnot, because admittedly I only know so much about Korean history because I've only done very brief studies and what I've seen in museums and whatnot. So the Joseon period is in general a very popular period setting for historical pieces and historical dramas. I actually did ask my mom why that is, and she said it's because it's just a really well documented period. So everyone kind of like knows it and stuff like that. So there's like two major historical periods I know about in Korean history. There's the Three Kingdoms period where you had, a lot of Chinese medieval stories revolve around, because it's a story and a period everyone knows about. Same, and it's kind of the same thing with like a lot of Japanese period pieces where you either get that kind of like Meiji Restoration era with the Shinsengumi or like the Sengoku Warring States era. Like a lot of people know the history for that. So there's two big historical periods you usually see referenced, which is the Three Kingdoms era, where you had Goryeo, Baekje, and Shilla, and then Joseon is, I believe, after those three kingdoms ended up uniting into one country. So a lot of people do kind of refer to it as like medieval Korea in a way. And there's me that learns most of my history from Sabaton. Okay. The main reason I know Sabaton is because when they finally announced the Bismarck for Azure Lane, they did it by using Sabaton's Bismarck song to announce that they were finally releasing Bismarck and Azure Lane. Honestly, I respect the whole historical rock genre and the fact that Christopher Lee actually had... historians were on their game in that era. I'm not sure. Because I don't know if it's just that historians were on their game or if it was just more recent. So it happened to be more well documented kind of stuff. Because I think you see the same thing in like a couple of like Chinese kingdoms and historical records too. Like they would keep records of like decisions the king was making and all sorts of stuff like that. Dude, like Christopher Lee, if there was any person in all of humanity who had main character energy, I think Sir Christopher Lee is like that person. The fact that he was descended from Charlemagne and then made a historical rock album about Charlemagne is like, it's one of those things that like, it sounds absurd on paper, but it actually loops back around to being really fucking awesome. Ian Fleming knew Tolkien, was actually Tolkien's pick to play Gandalf, corrected Peter Jackson during the filming of Lord of the Rings. I almost married Swedish royalty, but she deserved better. Yeah, I'll never forget when Peter Jackson was talking about how like, he's like, that's not what a man sounds like when he gets stabbed from behind. And it's like, why are you so certain? And it's just like, we're not going to talk about that, but that's not what it sounds like. And it's like, oh my God. Yeah, like it's such an insane story to exist. So anyways, the language options for this game I think are very funny because it's English, French, and Korean. Yeah, the best bragging story. Vitesse texte, avançado, musique, effets sonores, affichage, commande, langue, Korean. Oh gosh, Hangul Sochang. So I can read Hangul. Umryang? Isn't it umak for music? Umryang, 효과음, display, 패드, 저는 키보드 선택. Gamepad or keyboard choice. Keyboard ono, and then we went 영어. I know enough Korean to be able to switch the language back to English. Alright, so let's get the game loaded up. Story characters' locations and other elements picked in this game are fictitious. Alrighty. I will attempt to explain what I can with my own knowledge. But there will be gaps where we are going to have to, or I will have to rely on the in-game explanations and whatnot. I probably should study up more on the Joseon stuff. All right, let's see the tutorial. What? Index. Unso. Oh, hi, Unso. As you progress through the game, some words will be displayed in red. Okay. These are Korean terms, and you will probably want to know what they mean. They know. And how Jackson tried to have him impaled in that wheel so he could be the last person to impale Dracula. Went out of his way to avoid the impale world, and when in the wheel, he gave him a look and said, you know, Peter, this wheel... Oh, yeah. I do remember hearing that story. He was like, isn't this familiar? These are Korean terms, and you will probably want to know what they mean. When you see these words... pop up in red, head over to the index menu to understand what everyone's like. Okay, Hanyang is the name of Joseon's capital. Nowadays it's called Seoul. Oh, Seoul used to be Hanyang. Interesting. So it's like how Tokyo used to be Edo. Flowchart. Suwa. Oh, Suwa's cute. Depending on your actions, events will change for better or worse. Your journey will be mapped out in the flowchart menu. You may jump between scenes at any time, erasing the need to start back from the beginning of the story. You will even unlock new branches after certain events. Don't worry about not being able to go back and head down a different path. Okay. Autosave secrets. Yuna! Or it's probably Yona. I wish I could see how her name's supposed to be written in Korean, because I don't know if it's Yuna or Yona. Yona. There is a difference. A few mysteries and secrets will be revealed during your journey through Suhoshin. We would greatly appreciate if you didn't disclose these secrets to your friends or to the people of the internet. Thank you for your discretion. Oh, that's fair. Okay. Suhoshin has an autosave feature. The save is performed at the beginning of each scene. If any problem should arise during your playthrough, you will find your data in the last slot of the load menu. I'm not allowed to have a favorite, even like characters. Oh my god, John, you have the same curse I do. There were so many movies when I was like watching them growing up where it was just kind of like, I love this character, and then they died. It's like, no. So Yuna, based on her hair ornaments, is probably a nobleman's daughter because her family's actually able to afford hair ornaments. She's unmarried. Do you recommend that you save often? Hang on, let me check this. Unso, probably unmarried. Also probably from a higher class family. And then I'm just guessing Suwa might be a commoner girl based on the fact she doesn't really have any hair ornaments. All of these girls are unmarried though. The curse exists elsewhere, yeah. So we have 3 unmarried girls. Because in traditional Korea, you could tell if someone was married or not by if they had... So all Korean girls would wear their hair in a braid. And then when they got married, they would put it up in a bun with a pin. So that's why I'm like, oh, they're not married. From my vantage point, I could see a river in the distance. I reined in my horse and looked up at the sky. Oh no, an Attack on Titan character. It was getting late, and I was losing daylight. It was the 7th day since my departure from Hanyang, and the 2nd since the last village I stopped at. And we know this from the index. Hanyang is what is now known as Seoul. I was exhausted. I was also starting to miss human contact more and more, and couldn't wait to rest in the comfort of my own home. Thankfully, I was getting close to my final destination. Yuri? Is that a Korean name? How about we find a place to stop for the day? Huh. That river is just 10 minutes away. Not saying for spoilers, it was funny when I got it into a French guy said she was safe. Spoilers, the later seasons, she wasn't. Oh no! Oh no, I have a feeling I might know who the character is, because I remember there was one character I liked too, and then she was not okay later on, and then I was like, I'm done with this series. I can't do this anymore. It'll only take another half a day at most to reach my village. If I head out early enough tomorrow morning, I should arrive by noon. I can't wait to see my old friends and get a start on this new job. I spurred my horse on once more, continuing my journey to the southeast. Even though I was tired, every time I thought about reuniting with the people I'd left behind, I could feel a tingle of excitement. Oh, let me see if I can get that on screen a bit better. Yeah, there we go. Why is that? Hang on, something is missing. Huh. That's odd. Where did that image go? Here, I wonder why that's not showing up. There we go. His hat is a plus one. Yeah, that's a hat a lot of people wore back then. None of them knew of my return, so it was going to be quite a big surprise. A few minutes later, I reached the riverbank. Hang on, why is this not showing correctly? What the heck? Hang on one second. What the? So that is there. What the? Huh. Interesting. Whatever reason that's not showing right. Anyways, people on my Discord net me. See, that's one franchise that happened to me in several. No, I'm opposite. I immediately grabbed the characters that seem insignificant and then later not. Oh God, Burholt. Yeah. Oh man. Burholt was one of my favorites too. I was like, this guy's funny. And then plot. Bertolt, I was like, this guy, I like this guy's kind of goofy. Bertolt, I liked Bertolt and Rainer a lot. It's Reiner a lot. And then it was just like, they are characters in this story. I tethered my horse to a tree and filled my flask with water. I hoped this would be my last night sleeping under the stars. I'm in for another cold night. I ought to light a small fire. I watched that app during a lunch break, and I had full body. Oh God, I remember reading the manga chapter for that scene, and I was like, "Hold up, what?" Because like it was actually really funny how they just put that line in there as just like almost like a background event, and then you're like, "Wait, what?" It was so good, though. I started collecting some firewood and kindling scattered about the area. This part of Joseon was a land of many mountains and forests, so firewood was easy to come by. Joseon is what people used to call Korea. It is also the name of the time period between 1392 and 1910. So yeah, I think Joseon is what preceded modern Korea, and then 1910 modern Korea was established. So it's funny because like people will say medieval Korea, but like when you think about it, it still existed like a little over 100 years ago, which is kind of crazy. I gathered wood until I had a big enough stack to last the night. Then I sat down and went about lighting my fire. The nights were growing colder and colder, making it necessary to have a fire. Ooh, we got fire sound effects. Let's see how much food is left. I still have a good supply of rice and meat. This should be enough to get through my final day. And with this river so close, I won't be lacking water anytime soon. As I nibbled at my lackluster dinner, I dreamed about the next hot meal I would be treating myself to once I arrived. There was a jumak in the village that I always loved going to since the food was so good. An ancient Oh! Hello! Sirius, hi! Thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome, Raiders. My name is Ursa Marida. I am a night sky loving bear who likes games, gunpla, and various hobbies. Welcome in. It's so good to see you. Oh, you guys are chatting? What are you guys talking about? Hello, welcome in. Feel free to stretch, get a drink, do what you need to. Cyrus, thank you for the follow. I hope you guys... Oh! SDK Joshua, thank you for the follow. I hope you guys are having a lovely Friday evening wherever you are. Please feel free to get up and stretch. Take a moment. Take it easy. Life and just sing. Oh, that must have been fun. Oh, co-working. Oh, I hope you guys were able to have a productive stream then. Yeah. Oh, time zones are crazy. I remember someone was asking me about the time zones, and I had to explain that like even if I'm not traveling, daylight savings time gives me jet lag somehow. Well, welcome in. We are playing Suhoshin today. It is a murder mystery visual novel set in the Joseon period of Korea. The game does come with a helpful index explaining Korean terms, and I will do my best to also supplement that information where I can with my own knowledge about Korea. So yeah, welcome in, and if you need to go to bed, go ahead and go to bed. Daylight savings gives you job because it moves the clock in the first place. Yeah. So true, Archangel. Yeah. It's the one thing that if it went away, I don't think anyone would be particularly upset. Um, Hello, Vanda. It's good to see you. Hello. So a zumak is a tavern operated by zumos where one could get a hot meal. So yeah, like I understand why it was necessary before in the old days, which for those who don't know, in certain regions of America, there's a thing called daylight savings time. It occurs on the spring and the winter equinox, I believe, or is it the solstice? I always get those mixed up. Point is in the spring and in the winter is when it occurs. And basically, certain parts of America, which hilariously not every state in the United States does it. They will move their clocks ahead 1 hour in the spring and then move them back an hour in the winter. And leaving the US president to solve some murder mystery in Korea, I'm down. Yeah. And the reason why this was done is because of agriculture, when people were primarily working on farms and whatnot. So the idea is that it would give people working out in the fields an extra, more daylight to be working and not be working into the dark, stuff like that. And so that's why they were attempting to quote unquote save daylight. So yep, spring forward, fall back. That's a very common way to remember how you're adjusting the clock. But that is why daylight savings happened, basically. And, I understand we still have a very strong agriculture industry, but personally, I think it's just to accommodate. Yep, exactly. So that you can have more daylight and stuff during working hours. But personally, I think that we have, as a society, have moved past the need for daylight savings. It switches anyway. It still feels like a ripoff during modern times. Yeah, exactly. Especially when you're losing the hour in spring, because like when you fall back and like in the winter, you are technically gaining an hour back, but you lose that hour in the spring, and it always feels like a ripoff when you lose that hour. And also, if you play gacha games, it screws up. You're already screwed up. Yeah, and if you play gacha games, it throws you off too with your resets. So yeah, screw that. Okay, so Jumak is basically a tavern, and sometimes they would have. Yeah. The Jumak was a great place to get together and discuss the goings-on with other village folk. Okay. I had quite a few pleasant memories from my time there. After mopping up the last scraps of my meal, I pulled my blanket out of my pack. So this guy... Huh? Who goes there? Oh. Okay, hi, ma'am. So what's the spookies we have encountered? We haven't encountered any spookies so far. This is the first person we've met. Very straightforward, probably not noble. Going off her humbook, nothing particularly fancy. She has looks like a wooden bino. A bino is a hairpin that you use to secure your braid up. So presumably she has a husband. A woman had happened upon my campsite, and yet I hadn't heard the snap of a single twig signaling her approach. Okay, so she's stealthy. That was rather odd, since noticing suspicious sounds had been one of the lessons I had been taught during my training. Was exhaustion to blame? The trip had tired me out mentally, but physically I still felt fine. I'd probably grown far too relaxed without realizing what was happening, since I hadn't seen a soul for 2 days now. Yeah, she rolled high on the stealth roll. Either way, there was no village within walking distance. This woman seemed to be on foot, wearing her everyday clothes and carrying no pack. Oh, that is weird. There's no village within walking distance. Women usually wouldn't travel on foot from a village, really. How had she gotten here? The question baffled me, especially considering how late it was and that we were in the middle of nowhere. Good evening to you, miss. She gave no response. Sus meter high alert. Yeah, a little bit. What are you doing out here? I could ask you that same question. It is rather unusual for a young man like you to spend the night in a place like this. Her voice was calm and her demeanor collected. She didn't look to be lost. The whole situation was a bit unsettling. I'm returning to my home in Yangdong. I still have half a day's ride ahead of me, so I've decided to camp here for the night and set off again in the morning. I see. May I share your fire? It wouldn't have been proper for me to refuse. I nodded. She sat down across from me and glanced at my bags. No matter how hard I racked my brain, I couldn't recall meeting a person like her before. It seems that you have come very far. Where are you riding in from? Hanyang. I have spent the last 3 years there, and today counts the 7th day of my journey home. So then, you're coming from the capital. What business did you have there? She started up conversation as if there was nothing at all strange about her arrival. But considering that I had no one to talk to for the past 2 days, I was up for a chat. I went there for my training. She gave me a look that told me she expected me to continue. I completed the training needed to become an officer. And after passing the guago, I was told to return to Young. Oh, is that the meritocracy exam? Yes, it was the civil service exam. Okay, these extremely difficult exams had to be passed if a citizen wanted to attain any job requiring any sort of expertise, including military or government positions. Yes, so I don't know if you guys recall from school. I know some schools do teach in like world history classes about the civil service merit exams that they used in China. Korea did a similar thing where they basically had civil service exams. And if you wanted any kind of like position, like is like working for like the king, the government, to be a minister or something like that, you had to pass that exam. And you know, it was like very similar stuff like Confucianism classics, all sorts of stuff like that, literacy. So not quite like the military aspect, because King Sejong was pre-Joseon, right? I learned all I learned in school was US history because yeah. So in some countries, and the main one people know it from is China, is in order to get a government position, you had to prove you had a certain level of education and knowledge. So you would have to pass a civil service exam to basically get in. At this point, Sejong, what year was he? Okay, so depending on, I read enough creepypasta to know not to fall asleep around this woman. Depending on when in Joseon this novel is set, Hangul may or may not have been introduced yet. So the Korean writing, so Korea used to use Chinese as its main writing system, and literacy was not exactly widespread, which was another reason for the civil service exam. Is this person literate? And that's part of what made them difficult, is you had to know Chinese. So you had to be able to read Chinese and read and write and speak Chinese. And then King Sejong decided that literacy shouldn't, and obviously I'm really paraphrasing this here, but he decided that it wasn't right for literacy to be gatekept among the nobles and whatnot. And so he actually created Hangul to be a written language that would be accessible to the Korean people. And it's actually a really cool story because they were kind of against it. And the way he convinced the ministers to adopt Hangul is that he used like honey or something like that and wrote it on the leaves. And overnight, insects ate those parts of the leaves. And so it looked like it was like a divine sign to adopt Hangul, because all of a sudden they're seeing it appear in nature because the bugs ate out the letters from the leaves. Yeah, it's actually like you can't help but respect it. So he is one of the most well-known Korean monarchs because he's the one who created and got Hangul adopted. And it's actually really fascinating because Hangul really was meant and designed to be an accessible language, because the way, hang on. I got paint. Where's paint? Open paint. Do I still have paint as a capture here? Hang on. Add window capture. Oh, I do have it. Paint. Make source visible. Oh no, it's weird. No. Hang on, remove that. That's no good. Remove. Do I have to do it as a game capture? MS Paint. Capture a specific window. Where are you? No? You're just not gonna show for me there, buddy? All right, paint's no good. Hang on. I have to open up a different program then if paint's not gonna cooperate with me. Because I do want to explain how Hangul works to you guys, because I think it's actually really neat. Do I have CSP? Okay, so CSP's opening. Give me a moment to get... We are going on a Korean tangent. Where is my... Here we go. Okay. So the way Hangul works, right, is... So, here's my... Oh, I didn't turn it on. That would help. Yeah, so... Let's take the name of the game, for example. So you have... Suhoshin, right? So you have a consonant and then a vowel. So every letter is at its core made up of a consonant sound at the start and then a vowel sound after. And then you have some like shin where you have an additional consonant at the end. And you have some letters like yang, like that. But, and I'm going to use a much simpler term to kind of show this. So some very basic like Korean letters is you'll have like ma, pa, right? So this first part, the o, the mium, and the piep, they're supposed to indicate to you the way you shape your mouth. So iung, mium, piep. They're supposed to help give you an idea of how you shape your mouth when you say the letter. And then the vowel part, I just used ah for all of these, is supposed to kind of indicate to you where you hold your tongue in your mouth as you say the letter. So that was like the intent in how it was supposed to work as a written language, in that you were supposed to be able to look at the letter, and the letter would kind of help tell you and show you how you're supposed to say it. And even the names of the letters is kind of educational. So the way they refer to, I don't know how they refer to individual vowels, but when you look at consonants, so if you take mium, for example, the way you even learn the name of like what this part is shows you how it's pronounced at the start of a letter and at the end. So the name of each Korean consonant, for lack of a better word, will actually tell you how it's supposed to be pronounced in a way. So it's actually really interesting how just learning the alphabet in Korean can like reinforce itself as you learn it. Because I remember there was, when I was trying to teach myself how to read Hangul, I had a chart I would study, because let me see if I can find. Yeah, it's not really a diagram, because the other thing too is when you go to read Hangul or learn Hangul, for example, hang on, where is like a good learn? I can't, where is it? Here it is. Here's one. Like, the one I had was a little cuter in my room. But, oh, that's terrible image quality. But, oh my god, why is that image quality so bad? Oh, is this better? Oh, yeah, that's way better. Hang on, let me get a better image one. No. King Sejong, here we go. Oh, it won't let me copy it. All right. Copy image. Let's try this. Oh, here. This one's a lot better, a lot clearer. But it was a much cuter chart, but it was something similar to this, where you have your consonants across the top here, right? So you have giak, nian, dia, riel, miam, bia, xia, iang, jia, tia, kia, tia, and a few others. And then you have your vowels of like ah, ya, o, yo, u, and whatnot. And basically, you would have this chart of kana, dara, mabasa, za, chak, hata, kya, nya, dia, ria, mia, bia, xia, ya. And I remember like there was just one day where it suddenly clicked in my mind, and I was like, oh, that's how the alphabet works. Like, that's how it all works. I understand now. And the reason why I bring up Hangul, I apologize for the tangent, is because depending on when this is in Joseon, when he talks about passing the civil service exam, if Hangul hasn't been adopted yet, then that means he did it all in Chinese. So that's a random tangent fun fact for you there. So he passed the civil service exam, trained in the capital, and now he's basically been assigned to his hometown. That's where we are with the story. That is quite the feat of intelligence. Then you went to Hanyang to prepare for the exam. I could remember it all as if it had happened only yesterday. I've been dreaming of becoming an officer ever since I was a small child. But since I grew up in Yangdong, such a small village far to the southeast of the capital, I knew that accomplishing such a dream would be difficult. There was no school nearby, and no means of training for that sort of job within reach. We only had a few soldiers stationed in our town. So when I was young, I tried to set myself apart from my peers by making myself useful whenever I could. I think that was why one of the noblemen took notice of me and offered to pay for me to travel to Hanyang, where I could get a formal education. Of course, I accepted and set off for the capital at once. Quite the courageous move on your part. It must not have been easy setting off on your own like that, leaving your friends and family behind. I had no real family to speak of, and no memories of my parents. Yeah, so if you weren't already a noble back then, pretty much the only way you could hope to take the exam was to have a noble basically be your patron and sponsor you. I had spent my entire childhood in an orphanage. That was why I had built such solid bonds with the people of the village. They were the only family I had. Leaving them behind had proven to be quite the ordeal, but I knew that it wouldn't be forever. And what did your instructors teach you? We focused on several different subjects. In terms of combat, I was trained to handle a variety of weapons, bow and spear among them. Yeah, so archery, classic, very strong archery tradition in Korea. Spear is another one, so that's not too surprising. I was also taught how to serve as a bodyguard, and I was on a horse practically every day. Our conversation continued, but I still had no idea who this woman was. I had to ask. Pardon me, but would you please tell me what brought you out here? Wait, can I switch this to Korean real quick? Okay. Oh, not the language. Okay, that's fine. It's getting late, and we're in the middle of nowhere. You should not jump straight to suspicion, young man. I have been living in Yandong for a few months now. Spear's common for most cultures. Yeah, pointy end on a stick works wonders every time. Which explains why we have never met before. It was Mr. Lee, the village Sato himself, who welcomed me when I arrived. What is a Sato? A Sato was a high-ranking official sent by the king. Okay, so he's like the magistrate for the village. Gotcha. I also met Mr. Kim. Do you have any idea how little that narrows things down? Kim is the single most common family name in Korea. There's like... The thing about Korean names is that there's like 5 super common ones. Pointy sticker fruit, which is more dangerous. Real ones will get my reference. I'm not a real one tonight. So, let me look it up real quick. Whoops, all Kims, yeah. It's like Lee, Kim, Choi, Park, and Chung are like the 5 most common last names in Korea. And Kim alone accounts for like at least like 20% of the Korean population. So like at least 1/5 of the population is like Kim something. Shin is another one. Yeah, Shin isn't as common as the big 5. But like Kim is like hands down the biggest. I think Lee is the next most common. Kim, Lee, Che is another common one. Pak is another common one. And then Jung is like, yeah. So, but like those are like the 5 most common. So when it's like Mr. Lee and Mr. Kim, and I'm like, I'm sitting here hoping, like, I hope we get given names at some point, because these names aren't gonna help for shit with keeping these people apart. I can think of at least 5 Korean manga, yeah, that have a character with the name Kim. Yeah, like even in like Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, which I need to read someday, the main character is Kim Dokja. You know? That was far too specific to be concocted on the spot. There was no way she could just happen upon the details of these families, especially the surnames of the village Yangbans. Yangban class, yeah. This status allowed... Oh, Yangban allowed them to avoid taxes and laws. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, so Yangban is basically... I think it's kind of like a noble class, basically. I often head out this way on horseback rides, but I do believe that I pushed myself and my horse a bit far this afternoon. My horse threw me and took off. Avoiding taxes if only. Yeah, right. I have been walking for a few hours now, thinking I was heading toward Yangdong, but I must have taken a wrong turn somewhere. I knew I was lost and begun to worry. It was good fortune meeting you out here, otherwise I do not know what might have become of me. Still reading and letting chapters build up to binge on leveling up in an exclusive dungeon. Philippines doesn't have anything like that because it's such a melting pot of culture, so it could be... That's right, yeah. The Philippines does have a kind of crazy mix of cultures. Yeah, because it's weird because I think even in like China and Japan, I don't know if they have a phenomenon similar to like 1/5 of the population all having the same family name but not necessarily being related. You know what I mean? Would you mind if I spent the night here? Then perhaps you could show me the way in the morning. Of course, I would never presume to ask a lady to fend for herself in the woods. Here, take my blanket. It's getting quite chilly at night, and I would hate for you to fall ill. I handed her my blanket. That's very kind of you, but how will you manage without it? I've got some warmer clothes in my pack. They will suffice. Are you sure? Yes, I'll be fine. However, I have no food to offer you. You must be hungry. A little, but I should be able to hold out for a day. She took something from a small pouch and held it out to me. What is it? Do I get to see? Oh! Oh! I would like to offer you this norige as a token of my gratitude. Yeah! Yeah, so this is a traditional... I shouldn't go to conventions. Mine will set off Berserk fans. It's technically Welsh roots. Ah. One of my last names is from British descent. I'm not too sure on the origins, but I know. Yeah. Norige. Yeah. So norige are pretty common. They're basically like usually sorry, my mind just blanked. Holy crap. Basically they're usually carved from something like jade or some kind of other precious stone like that. And you know, like it says here, usually meant to bring good fortune and stuff like that. The richer you were, the more fancier and crazy one you would have. So the fact that she has a pretty nice one made of jade it looks pretty nice. I'll offer you this norige as a token of my gratitude. It protects its owner from all manner of misfortune. Oh, this is cute. This is cute. Okay, so at the top of it, where's my mouse? Okay, you can see it. These two critters right here are hete. And they are protective spirits in Korean, kind of like Shisa in Okinawa. They're delightful little goobers. I like hete. They're cute little things. I don't know how better to explain them, but they are protectors of good things. They bring good vibes with them. Thank you very much, but I don't believe my actions merit any sort of reward. I insist. I very much want you to have it. She held the norige out to me. Oh! I have no option but to take it. If you insist, I will keep it close. I slipped it into my bag. Without another word, she wrapped the blanket around her body and lay down next to the fire. It looked as though the mishaps of the day had left her tired, and I thought it better to let her have a good night's rest. She was a mysterious woman, and I realized that I hadn't even had the chance to ask for her name. Still, that wasn't a pressing issue, and we would have plenty of opportunities to talk things over during our journey tomorrow. I think it might be. I think you are meant to have to replay scenes to try out different options. I took a few more options of clothing out of my bag to help me stay warm, and after stoking the fire for a few minutes, making sure it would burn for at least a few more hours, I lay down to sleep as well. Okay. I must have fallen asleep soon after because I had no other memories from that night. Is she going to be gone in the morning? Southeast. Okay, we're still southeast. We're still in the southeast. I woke up at dawn, feeling refreshed after a good night's sleep. The fire must have gone out sometime during the night because the embers were cold. As I pondered that fact, I realized that I hadn't woken up once during the night to stoke the flames. That wasn't like me at all. I was supposed to be looking after my new companion, but I had slept through the night instead. Oh, that was not officially one of my duties. It was a bit negligent on my part. Refresh after sleeping. What witchcraft is? Yeah, it's funny because even he is like, I slept through the whole night. What? I knew it. She's gone. I took a look around, but there was no sign of the woman from the night before. Ooh, she's gone. Where did she go? I looked over to where she had bedded down for the night, but she was nowhere to be seen, and neither was my blanket. In fact, my blanket was draped across the norige. Do you have it? Am I going mad? I vividly remembered putting on another layer of clothes last night to keep warm. I rummaged through my bag. Everything is in its proper place, even the clothes I remember putting on last night. That's rather. Do you have the norige? I am absolutely sure that I gave her my blanket and put on an extra layer of clothes. How did the clothes I was wearing end up back in my bag? Was all of that just a dream? Oh, okay. I would look for the norige personally, but we'll just check the area. I checked out the place where I could remember her bedding down for the night. Let's have a look. I can clearly remember her stretching out right next to the fire. That's so strange. She couldn't have slept here. The grass is completely undisturbed. I took another look around. Not a single trace of her. I'm not sure what to make of that. Well, check your horse. I went over to my horse, finding her right where I left her, next to the river. You saw that woman too, didn't you, girl? Did she slip away sometime in the night? Or was it this morning? Regardless, that's the knot I tied. I'm sure of it. Let's face it, if she had actually fled the scene, you'd be gone too. If only you could tell me what you saw. Anyway, you're carrying enough of a burden, having to lug me around all day. I gave her a gentle pat and walked back to my camp. Okay. Hello? Ma'am? No response. But yeah, horse noise. The horse noise was good. I liked it. I decided to try once more, a little louder this time. Hello? Is anyone there? Looking for someone and you say, hi, hello, in the forest. Again, no response. Only the birds seemed to be within earshot. I walked down to the river and called out again. Hello? She's gone. If she were still close by, she would have heard me by now. She explained that she had been thrown from her horse and walked all this way, but we're such a long way from the village. How could that be? She didn't seem all that worried about me. I can remember giving her my blanket, but that is clearly not the case. It must have been a dream. Do you have the norige? Norige odiso. I must have been so exhausted that I imagined meeting a woman who had lost her way. I also slept through the night, neglecting my fire completely. A moon bear comes around from behind a tree, yeah. It had been a long time since that had happened. The trip must have been harder on me than I thought. Well, there's no time to waste. I must be off for the village. It's still rather early. If I head out now, I should get there by noon. I packed up my things and readied my horse. Off we go. Why did you not check for the norige she gave you? My guy. Suhoshin. My guy, why would you not check? You took it. Yangdong Village. Okay. After riding for a few hours, I was able to make out Yangdong in the distance. Plot and dramatic. Me just like, no, check it. It's such an obvious way. This is a very slow opening, by the way. We still haven't met most of the cast yet. Oh, okay. Ad break has kicked in. I am going to get up and stretch real quick and get some water. So give me a moment. All right, and then we're gonna hit this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the this thing. All right, and then we're gonna hit the VNs can really work your voice. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you're doing VNs and then you're just kind of like, oh, more characters than anticipate. I only have so many voices. Uh-oh. It's so funny because, like, I think my biggest struggle with voice acting stuff is consistency. And, like, the one voice I know I can do consistently is the professor voice I gave that one Goomba in Thousand Year Doors because I physically hold my tongue a specific way in my mouth to do the voice. And that's how I do the professor's voice. It's like, I kind of, like, very... I don't know, it's like a very specific physical thing I do, and that's the only reason why I can keep his voice so consistent. Oh gosh. All right. Scrimble has received some pets. I have water. I should open the water because it's sparkle water. And I don't know if that picked up on the mic. All right. Here we are. We're finally at the village. Yes, Scrimbro. Yay, hi Scrimbro. Yeah. It's funny because apparently with my Korean relatives, not all of them can roll their R's, but I can roll my R's. So I'm just like, scrimblo, scrim. So like, I'm always just like, I can roll my R's. I don't know why. I'm just like, yes, this is a thing I can do that my cousins cannot. Yeah. I feel like rolling R's also just adds like it's a really fun way to just add some like flair to something. I don't know how to explain it. I had been away for 3 whole years. See what I mean? 3 whole years. Versus I had been away for 3 whole years. But in just a few minutes, I would be back at the place I called home. A wave of emotion hit me. I was about to meet all of my old friends again and get started on this new job of mine. This small village of only a few hundred people was where I grew up. I lived in a small house outside of these walls, near the southern gate. Our village was quite isolated from the rest of Joseon, the closest town being several days away by horse. Here in Yangdong, we lived off the land and were fairly self-sufficient. There was always enough to go around. After passing the exam, I had been expecting to be assigned to one of the larger cities, but my orders were to return to Yangdong instead. Since this was such a quiet town, I figured that most of my job would be centered around helping the community. I should veer west, skirting the village so that I can stop by my house and drop off my things. After that, I'll be free to catch up with my friends. Okay! Now we're coming to his house. Oh, this is a modest little place. Home sweet home. At long last, my journey is over. The perspective in this house feels a little weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a reverse fish lens almost, like on the background. I don't know how to explain it. Not a spot. It was probably being maintained while he was living in the capital. Oh, these cabinets. They're decorated and they're not this plain. We actually do have a chest of drawers that's kind of similar to this here. That's funny. My house was clean and smelled as fresh as the day I left it. Can't tell if he's short. Yeah, the room feels weirdly tall because I feel like he should be standing higher up. I think they did the heights weird on this scene. The perspective in general feels kind of weird in this scene somehow. I don't know how to explain it. Wow, not a speck of dust to be found. I should thank Suha for... Okay, so someone was taking care of his house for him. For taking such good care of the place while I was gone. Suha was my neighbor and childhood friend. My best friend, really. When I left home, she kindly offered to keep an eye on the place and tidy up every once in a while. But from the look of things, she had gone above and beyond simply tidying up. I must also be sure to say hello to Mr. Kim. He is the highest-ranking Yangban in the village, and it's all thanks to him that my dreams became a reality. Ah! I'm sure Yunbok will be delighted to know I'm back, too. He was always so friendly to me. always pushing me toward my dream of becoming a soldier like him. Come to think of it, it might not be a bad idea to invite Suha and Yumbok for a drink at the Jumak tonight. Yeah, we gotta shout Osana Jimi, baby! Who should I visit? Okay. Okay, alright. Emotionally, I feel like we should go visit Suha or Yumbok. In terms of piety, Mr. Kim would be the correct person to visit first, I feel. And I'm just kind of like, I can feel the formality in me responding to go visit Mr. Kim first. Yangbang District. It's like, I need to report to him. He is my sponsor. When I arrived at the Yangbang District, I found Mr. Kim standing outside. Not allowing yourself to feel I might get someone killed. Ah, hello, Yuri. I see that you have returned. Oh, he's wearing purple, and it's got a bit of brocade on his hanbok. Fancy, fancy. Mr. has money. Yeah, so the hats, I think. I'm still not too familiar on the hats, but I think the hats also indicated rank and status in a way. So I believe this style of hat was more common amongst Yangbang noble types. But you can also tell that he has money because that purple like smock thing he's wearing, it has like a brocade pattern on it. Most hanbok for commoners would not have patterns like that on it. Plus the classic trope of like, he's got purple on him. He can afford stuff. I don't think purple had the same connotations of being an indicator of royalty or status in Korea, but I don't think it was a common color either. I'm unsure on that, actually. Good morning, sir. I just got back this afternoon. That is good to hear. I received word that you passed the examination. Congratulations, my boy. I suppose your training is complete then? Yes, sir, it is. I would like to thank you once more for giving me the chance to go to the capital. It was more than I could ever have dreamed of, and the amount of skills I learned far exceeded my expectations. I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed your time there. How long did the return trip take you? Almost 8 days altogether. That is quite the long trip. You must be tired. Maybe a little. To be young again. I was just like you at your age. How is your family? My wife and daughter are both fine, thank you. Oh, hello! Yuri, there you are. Hello, Mr. Minister. I don't know what this hat means, but I do know that he's more than likely a government official of some kind based on the way he's dressed. I'm pretty sure. Good morning, Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee was the Sato of... Yeah. Okay, so he is the Sato. Sato was here somewhere. Yes, okay, he is the government official. I know some things. I can tell from the way he's dressed, he's not a civilian at least. I have learned things from K-dramas. Responsible for overseeing the affairs of the village. It seems as though your journey back was an uneventful one, yes? That's right, sir. No problems at all. I was told that I was assigned here. He's got a swagger stick. But given no further instructions, I am ready to carry out any orders that you may have for me. I would have you rest today and tomorrow, Yuri. We can discuss your assignment after that. Visit your friends, inform everyone of your arrival, and get your affairs in order. I have important matters to attend to. I must be off. Very well, sir. I will see you soon, Yuri. Welcome home. Thank you, sir. Mr. Kim was always so busy. It was rare that conversations... Let me pin backhand with that stick. Hello, souls! Game has been setting up most of the plot so far. Dinner was chili dogs, fries, and beans. Nice. I had Texan rice, chips, and salsa. Very cool. It was rare that conversations with him lasted very long. Oh god, he's like closer next to Yuri. You've been granted an extraordinary privilege. You are aware of that, are you not? It is not normal to hear of a person like you going to the capital to take the military examination. However, it was Mr. Kim's decision, so I could not object. I can only hope that you will rise to the position that has been granted to you and realize just how fortunate you are. I'm sorry. Does this guy not approve of the fact I got to go? Ooh, steak and quesadillas. Not bad. Does this guy not like that I went to the capital to take the exam? I understand, sir. You can count on me. Mr. Lee was known to be rather cold, so his lecture didn't come as a surprise. Until someone steps up with a job for you, you will be under my employ. After your 2 days leave expires, of course. Thank you, sir. I am yours to command. It sounds as though you follow orders well enough. That is good. I expect no problems to arise if that continues. Now please, tell me what you learned during your time in Hanyang. I was in charge of a few criminal investigations, and I was told that I have a knack for it. Besides that, they said I was skilled at Do we get to Phoenix Wright cross-examine someone? I hope so. I beg your pardon? Such skills will be of no use here. What a waste. So much time spent in the capital and nothing to show for it. Not true, sir. I am capable of a number of other tasks, like standing watch and keeping the peace. That's a start. You may be of some use surveilling the Yangbang district. Regardless, we will discuss such things the day after tomorrow. But yeah, it sounds like he's gonna be used as a constable. I do have one question, sir. Have any sort of conflicts been known to break out in the village? Not really. Our village is a peaceful one. You may see the occasional quarrel between neighbors, but it isn't rarely necessary for soldiers to intervene in such squabbles. The Phoenix Wright joke at the beginning coming back, you're right! I was just like, ha ha ha, that's funny, Phoenix Wright, and now it's like, wait, actually? We might actually meet Dick Gumshoe's great grandfather? I believe you are close with Yumbok, are you not? You should direct such questions about day-to-day affairs his way. Will do, sir. Well, that will be all for now. Go home and rest while you can. Will do, sir. 네, 알겠습니다. Have a good day, sir. He turned and left. Well, we may be looking at a rough path to start down, but everyone's got to begin somewhere. Plot twist, Yuri is the ancestor of Dick Gumshoe. Oh my god, I have to change how I'm voicing him now. Well, we may be looking at a rough path to start down, but everyone's got to begin somewhere. At least I have a day to rest. I better make the most of it because I may not be getting too many of those. We are now Brooklyn in the middle of Korea. I headcanon it. He has a similar job. I'm laughing at this idea of like the extended. Here, Joe, why did the wind bring up the mountain? It felt decrepit. So what the heck? I'm just laughing at this idea of like an extended Mari cinematic visual novel universe. Or like, you know, like the Scrunkle cinematic universe where all these characters from different unrelated games are actually related somehow. And it starts, the Scrunkleverse, yeah, it starts with Dick Gumshoe having an ancestor from Joseon, Korea. Also being in film club with Revolver Ocelot out of Metal Gear Solid fame. What a start to the Scrunkle cinematic universe. Hello. Speaking of Scrunkles. Alright, now I want to visit Suha. Let's go to Sua's house. Oh, she's got a Jungkook! Oh! Yuri, you're back? Oh, he's covering it. But she has, it's an hourglass kind of shaped drum, and it's part of, like, traditional, like, Korean percussion ensembles. It's very common for girls. Why do they have matching ornaments? That's cute. Do you guys see that? Do you guys see the matching ornaments hanging from their clothes on blue cord? What? You two have matching ornaments? What's going on here? Sua's really cute though, by the way. I just want to say, like, her design is super cute. Yuri, you're back? I am. Good to see you, Sua. I just arrived a little while ago. What a surprise! I'm so glad to see you. As am I. How are you? You must be tired. Have you had lunch yet? I have not. I wonder, did she? If she gave that to him when he left, it's like, oh, girl. Lunch is almost ready. Have a seat. We can eat together. I couldn't possibly say no to a home-cooked meal. It's been a few days since I've had a warm meal. Nothing would make me happier. Plus, I brought you a special something from the capital. After everything Sua and I had been through, I knew I couldn't return empty-handed. Took a package out of my bag and handed it to her. Oh, you shouldn't have. What's inside? Open it and see. There it is. Okay, yeah, this over here. This is a jangu. It's called pumolnori or samonori, depending. But it's really common in folk villages, like historical folk villages. I don't know a better way to describe it apart from like drum dancing almost, but yeah. In terms of samonori, you do have like a percussion ensemble, and these are very common. I actually took a class on samonori before, and I do know a little bit about how to play a jangu. So, yay! It's like something I know in this game. She carefully opened the parcel, revealing a small dzumoni. Dzumoni? Small pouch people use to carry things. Ah! Oh! Oh, a dzumoni. Okay. Okay, I know what that is. I have one downstairs. It's not... I wonder which design it is, because they come in a couple different designs. I know what this is, though, because, yeah, hanbok, which is traditional Korean clothing, does not have pockets, so you had to have, like, a pouch to carry something. Oh, that's cute. That's actually a really cute one. I bought it at a fancy shop in Hanyang. Oh, it's got little flowers embroidered on it. Oh. Aww. I knew that she liked to treat herself every once in a while, and this kind of fashion accessory seemed perfect for her. She cradled the pouch in her hand, beside herself with delight. Wow, I love it, but this is too much. You must have paid a fortune. Do you really like it? I absolutely adore it. It's perfect. Thank you so much. No, I should be thanking you. I saw how well you took care of my home. It's so clean. You would never know it lay empty for so long. You're welcome, but it's really nothing at all. You would have done the same for me. Sure. She put her present away and went back to cooking. What should I ask her about? Ooh. Oh, okay. Oh, we got some choices here. Business, are you still playing music, and do you still visit the children at the orphanage? Are you still playing music? Do you still play the jangu? Yeah! Bingo! Pummel! What did I say? Pummonori, let's go! A jangu is a double-sided Korean percussion instrument. Yeah, it's a drum. It's weird that they're calling it a percussion instrument. It is a drum. And yeah, you can play it while sitting or while dancing. So, it's really cool because the way you can play it, like you have like a little harness play it cool. You don't want to come on Tuesday. I know, Cloud Force. I know. But I am interested in the Junggu because I do have experience playing one. Do you still play the Junggu? Of course. You're still able to find the time. I try to. Maybe once a week or so. I often play at home, but every once in a while I'll venture into the village. You play alone? Most of the time, yes, but I also play with my friend Sune. It's a good way to relax after a hard day's work. You must have seen quite a few Jungkook players during your time in Hanyang, no? She's the childhood friend. She's an exception. Yeah, we have a little bit more leeway with her. She is the childhood friend. I did indeed. The capital is very crowded, and they hold all sorts of ceremonies and festivals year-round. I attended several shows and saw some very talented musicians. Lucky, here I am having never left the village. Would you like to go with me if I ever have the chance to go to Hanyang? Oh, Yuri. Yuri. Oh, smooth. That was smooth, buddy. Do you really think I'd be allowed to accompany you? Sure, let's make a promise. At the first possible chance we get, we'll head there together. Oh, thank you. That's far too kind. I can't wait. Yuri, that was smooth, buddy. That was smooth. Oh, you're gonna take her to the capital with you? We already established it takes you 8 days to get there. That's at least 16 days, not counting time in the capital you're gonna spend with your girl, Yuri. Oh, that's like 3 weeks traveling together at a minimum, buddy. 18 days round trip. Giving you at least 3 days to actually see the sights, maybe more. Yuri. Yuri. 8 days alone on the road, both the ways. Exactly. It's a lot of time. Do you think love can bloom on a journey to the capital? Oh my gosh. Just a young man and a young woman traveling together. Okay, what do we want to ask her about next? Moving on. It's so cold. Oh, Yuri, it's so cold out here on the road. Won't you help me stay warm at night? I don't know why I went southern on that. I don't think they're in the part of Korea that has the equivalent of a southern dialect. So Korea used to have more distinct dialects. Apparently my mom speaks a dialect that is kind of considered like a country dialect. But with the modern education system, they've pushed for a more standardized Korean being taught in school. So dialects are not as common with Korean these days. And I remember because when I did try to take Korean classes, they teach, it's basically Seoul dialect, capital dialect Korean. And I remember there were a couple words here and there that like my mom had taught me them, and I'd be like, oh yeah, this thing. Like the word for fox, for example, in standard Korean is youl. That's fox. And the way I learned it is yosul. And it's actually like, it's so not common these days that I've had Korean people tell me like, no one says that. And then they look it up and they're like, oh, it actually is a dialect. And I'm like, yeah, like, I don't know what to tell you. My mom taught me it. So when I was in Korean class, I said yosul. And then I actually got into a spat with my teacher because she was like, no, that's incorrect. I was like, what are you talking about? My mom taught me that. My mom is Korean. She's what? Like, I was like, what do you mean that's not how you say it? that's what I was taught. Fox is yosul. And I prefer saying yosul because I find youl, like, youl just feels like too many vowels to have to say in a word, but yosul has the S in there to break it up and make it flow better. So I was actually just like, really upset with the teacher because she was telling me like, oh, your mom didn't teach you correct Korean. I was like, what do you mean? It's her first language. Yeah. I had a Korean roommate in the dorm too, because there was some dorms where they were like apartments, and so you could end up rooming with like, it was like 4 people to an apartment, and it was supposed to like help you practice living in an apartment. Yeah, Spanish classes and people, yeah, especially if like, because I don't know what kind of Spanish they teach in Spanish classes. I don't know if it's Castilian Spanish, like European Spanish, or American Spanish. Because apparently there are pretty crucial differences between European Spanish and American Spanish. I do remember hearing about that. Because like, it can really depend on where you're from. But yeah, I beefed with the teacher. I did have issues with that teacher, by the way, because I remember I went to her and I said, I can read Korean. And Aunt had that issue. She learned American Spanish, and then when she went to Spain, they gave her ick side eye. Oh no. But yeah, I remember I went to that teacher and I said, is there a proficiency exam I can take to place me? Because I can read, but I don't know any grammar or vocab. And she refused to let me take 101 because it would have been an easy A for me because I could read Hangul already. When I took it, it was more toward Mexican Spanish, but we were taught about some of the differences with European Spanish. So it was frustrating because she wouldn't let me take 101. And I remember in the class, like, because, you know, I took a few semesters of it, and like one of the TAs is like, I don't understand why your basic spelling and grammar are like you clearly understand what we're supposed to be doing, but you mess up spelling and grammar sometimes, and I don't understand it. And I was like, oh, she wouldn't let me take 101 because I could read Hangul. And then they were like, oh, you genuinely don't know the grammar rules. I was like, no, I have been backwards engineering these rules the entire time. And they were just like, oh shit, that explains a bit. You are something of an enigma bear. And I was just, they're like, I don't understand why you don't know the grammar. I was like, I was never taught the grammar. I have been winging it with the grammar. And everyone thought like my Korean was better than it really was just because I had a slightly better accent. It's so funny. So in Korean class, everyone's like, oh my God, I always thought you were one of the best students because your accent was like so good. And it was just like, no, my mom watches many drama and speak Korean. So I just kind of know how it should sound. I don't know. And it was so funny because they would be like, oh, you have like one of the best accents in the class. And then my mom would be like, you have such a bad accent and you mumble. Like, your Korean is so bad. And I'm just like, I don't have a good accent. I have a very American accent when I speak Korean. I'm pretty sure. Like, I really try not to have a bad accent, but it's like, it's probably there, whether I want it to be or not. I probably have like, yeah. So I probably have like a really weird accent in Korean of like very obviously American. Oh, okay, fine. No, yeah. Oh wait, did I miss something in the YouTube chat? I don't think so. No, yeah, because I did remember seeing your joke. Yeah, I don't think I missed anything in the YouTube chat because the joke was silly. I did like the joke. Sorry, Sus, I don't want you to think I didn't see the joke. I did like the joke. I'm sorry if you missed that. But yeah, I probably have a really weird accent of like mostly American, and then like there's like random parts where it's like dialect and then like decent accent. Anyways, we were playing a game. How's business going, Sua? Curse of the Asian whitewash. Yeah. Sua grew her own vegetables and sold them at the market. Oh, okay. Since we lived outside the village, there was an abundance of good farmland nearby. I can't complain. I go down to the market every few days. It's enough to get by. It's not always easy, especially in winter, but things could be worse. The good news is that I worked out a deal with one of the Jumaks in the village, and I've been supplying them with vegetables these past weeks. Oh, that's good! Provides me with a regular source of income and means less time hanging around the market stalls. It's a great opportunity for me. That's good to hear. Who knows, maybe you can work out a few deals with some of the village Yangbans too. Well, I won't get my hopes up. They have their own land and their own farmers. They don't buy from the likes of us. You never know. Like I said, I won't get my hopes up. Besides, I'm on my own out here. I would never be able to deliver my goods that far. Unless, of course, you wanted to work with me. Let's save that discussion for later. But I can give you a hand every once in a while, just like before. I'm here whenever you need me, so don't be afraid to ask for help. Alright, are you visiting the orphanage? Do you still go visit children at the orphanage? Of course I do. I make regular trips out that way when I can, and I make sure to bring some fruits and vegetables every time I go. I have to visit them too. You know, some of the children asked why you stopped visiting. Did they? Now that you mention it, I guess I did forget to say goodbye. That was rather thoughtless of me. It's alright. I told them all about your plans to set off to the capital and become an officer. I'm glad I have you to rely on. That's another thing I owe you for. The village orphanage held a special place in both of our hearts since we were both raised there. There weren't very many children living there when we were young, and since we were the same age, we soon became close friends. Suwa was the only family I had. At least, that was how I thought of her. I think they look up to you like an older brother. I can't imagine how much they all must have grown. You wouldn't believe it, but they're still just as adorable. Is Mrs. An still in charge of the place? She is. Good to hear. I'll be sure to pay them a visit the first chance I get. They will be delighted to see you. Here you go, Yuri. Lunch is ready. She set out 2 plates for us. The mouth-watering smell of her... What? They wouldn't use plates? What? This game was made by a French studio, so they maybe... I dug in? Where's the banchan? What? Suwa, your cooking is as excellent as ever. So... most Korean meals, if you've ever been to a Korean restaurant, they have like a lot of like smaller dishes with like the side dishes and stuff. They didn't really use plates. I think they mostly used bowls back then. And there's the lots of the merch. Yeah, it's just kind of like, I'm pretty sure they used bowls mostly. I might have to ask my mom about that. I don't think they really used plates. Not that I recall. Oh, you're much too kind. It's really nothing to write home about. Not true. You have a knack for taking an ordinary dish and turning it into something extraordinary. Do they have rice? Do they at least have rice? How about you tell me what you've been doing all of these years? Actually, one of the reasons I came by was to invite you for a drink with me and Yunbok at the Jumak tonight. I was hoping to celebrate my return and tell you both about my trip. What do you think? I think it's a great idea. Count me in! I can't wait to hear all about your adventures. Then I'll see you at the Jumak tonight? I wouldn't miss it for the world. Well, at least they didn't say they were using forks. They gave us Suwa. I say we give them slack on incorrect stuff. Yeah, it's like a really minor thing, but it's just like, wait, what? Yunbok's house. Oh, I thought he would be on duty or something. Okay. Oh, hey, buddy. Yuri. Great to see you, pal. When did you get back? Good to see you too, Yunbok. I got back earlier this afternoon. So, did you manage to pass the Guago? I did. Wow, really? Congratulations, that's terrific news. Are you here on leave, or are you back for good? I'm back for good, unless I get orders to go somewhere else. Ah, I see. Still, it's nice to have you back. Glad to be back. At least it's not Phoenix Wright with "Eat your hamburgers, Apollo," as What a great the fact that that comic strip got referenced when they released Great Ace Attorney, and they posted a picture of like a bento box, and they were like, "Eat your fish and chips, Ryuichi." And I was just like, "This is next level." Oh my god, yeah, I loved when they did that. I was like, "Oh, they're aware. They know." Which means we'll be working together from now on, I suppose. Our little Yuri has become an adult. I've got you to thank for that. You've always been such a great role model for me. Made me think of DBZ and King Kai's bean tacos. Or the infamous jelly donuts in Pokemon. I remember. Did they ever fix the localization stuff in the Switch version? I don't think so. I know with Great Ace Attorney, it's pretty clear between like the whole of Japan and because I feel like by the time they got to the point where they didn't really need to specify, they had already created Japanifornia and kind of locked themselves into it. So they've had to stick with the whole Japanifornia setting. You know what I mean? What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Maya and her hamburgers. Nonsense, this is Yangdong. Yeah, I feel like that's what I remember hearing about, is that like they were trying to keep it unspecified in the first few games, and then when the games ended up being more popular, they had basically kind of like ridden themselves into a weird situation where they couldn't just say, oh yeah, we're in like Japan or America. Because like Franziska, for example, there's one character who in the Japanese version, she had studied in America, but because they were trying to keep it unclear, or like unspecified in the localization, they changed it to her having studied in Germany instead. So there's like small differences like that between the versions with the localizations. But as far as I know, Great Ace Attorney is properly localized to be set like distinctively in Japan and the UK. Like they make it very clear that's where the games take place. But I think all the other ones, and then with Spirit of Justice, for example, that takes place in Kurine, which is a fictional country altogether. And that was obviously easier for them to adapt. But yeah, as far as I know, in terms of like whether or not those games take place in Japan or America, they kind of wrote themselves into having to keep it unclear. Anyways, nonsense, this is Yangdong. This place is much too small for me to be anyone's role model. Your job here is probably going to be very different from whatever you did in Hanyang. Anyway, who was your instructor? What did he teach you? Well, he was an instructor from the Royal Guard. Yeah, I still enjoy it, and I still think Phoenix Wright is still, despite its localization snags, I still think it's a strong example of why taking the time to localize games and watching on film while cooking. Grandma 47 keeps saying how, oh, Grandma, oh, hi, Grandma. I hope you have a yummy dinner tonight. Thank you. Aw, Graham. I do feel like Phoenix Wright is still overall a solid example of why you want a proper localization over direct translation. What? The Royal Guard? That's right. I got quite a bit of special treatment. I have been very fortunate. You have Mr. Kim to thank for that, am I right? Yes, that's right. That explains it. Only the Yangbans rub shoulders with the Royal Guard. Mr. Kim must have put in a good word for you, or even fibbed a little and said you were part of his family. He must really like you. Yeah, oh, she's talking. Yes, I was talking to Grandma. Curse that Mr. Kim being a real one. How dare you, Mr. Kim, being a real one like this? Who knows? In time, maybe he'll even offer you his daughter's hand in marriage. His daughter? Come on, be serious. You haven't changed a bit. Mr. Kim's daughter was Yuna. Like everyone from the Yangbang class, she was very elegant and refined. But in today's society, unless I was doing a job for them, the elite could hardly be bothered to give a person like me the time of day. Anyway, Yuri, I'm proud of you. You may know more than I do at this point. The master may become the pupil soon enough. I wouldn't go as far as to say that. Yumbok was always so fun to be around. He had a great sense of humor, and it was impossible to be bored when he was around. That being said, he always took his job very seriously. Those two qualities made him quite popular among the village folk. He knew when to be stringent with the rules, but he never lacked for sympathy. Or the rich sponsors looking at Yuri a certain way. In the capital, officers and soldiers were different, demanding respect and seldom seen cracking jokes. I was taught that order was of utmost importance when it came to matters of public safety and instructed in the ways of upholding that order. But at the same time, I realized that such things weren't held in such high regard in a village as small as Yangdong. An officer's priorities were very different depending on where they were stationed, and here, our job was to help out the locals as best we could. Being able to connect with the people you were supposed to serve was an excellent quality in that regard. I knew that Yumbok would always have the upper hand when it came to people skills. Oh no, not the clip command. Oh, should we be asking about? Yeah, anything of note? Parents and anything of note. I'll ask him if anything of note has happened. Anything of note happened while I was away? If you're asking if anyone has committed any major crimes, then no. Not surprising. Not much has changed. Our town is a small one, boasting a few hundred residents at most. Everyone knows everyone, and there are no crimes to be committed like the ones you may have seen in Hanyang. We certainly have had our fair share of quarrels between neighbors, but nothing serious. Any notable deaths of people I may have known? Nope, no deaths at all over the past few years. As a matter of fact, nothing really serious has happened since you left. What about you? Have you found that special someone and gotten married yet? Yeah. Sadly, I have not. How is that even possible? Everyone likes you. That's life. Let's just say I haven't been very fortunate when it comes to the ladies. You'll find someone. And how have your parents been? We're all right. Do they still run that pottery shop in the market? Yep, still going strong. Are they staying busy? From what I hear. I haven't caught wind of any money problems, so there must be a good deal of customers dropping by. Yumbok was older than me, but when we were children, we used to play together quite often. Sometimes his mother would cook us lunch. His parents were always very kind to me. I'll be sure to drop by and say hello when I'm free. They'll like that. They ask about you all the time. Tell me about an average day's work. If I'm going to be here for a while, I would like to know what I'm up against. Okay, let me fill you in. There are quite a number of things that I'm normally responsible for. Mr. Lee, the village Sato, is the one who assigns us our tasks. But you may not be doing the same thing that I do. I can't think of any reason why I might be treated any differently. One of the tasks I carry out most is watching over the market, directing the flow of traffic to and fro and making sure that there are no accidents. Though it's a little outside of my usual line of duties, I sometimes collect taxes from craftsmen and traders. When I'm not doing that, I'm usually just making my rounds in the village, making sure that nothing has been damaged. Considering how old some of the buildings around town are, it's not unusual to see. Above all else, it is my duty to protect the young bonds of the village. To ensure their safety, I routinely patrol the area where they all live. That's pretty much it for my duties. It all sounds simple enough, but one must always be vigilant. I see. Anything else that might come up? I was once sent to Dongnae to stand in for Mr. Kim at an official ceremony. Dongnae? Large town located Oh, Busan. Okay, yeah, Busan is one of the bigger cities in Korea. Yeah. I think one of my relatives lives. Yeah. I think one of my relatives lives in Busan, actually. There was a trial going there. Ah. Oh, a train. Oh, yeah, train to Busan. You said trial, and I was wondering if it was about the former president who tried to declare martial law, which I forever love how when the news was breaking, because they impeached him and he's going through the court system now, I believe. But when the news article broke out that the South Korean president had attempted to declare martial law, my mom was watching the news and it was in Korean, so I was trying to get her to translate for me. And I was like, what's going on? Like, why did he declare martial law? And she was just sitting there and she watched what the newscaster was saying. And then after a bit, she goes, because he's an idiot. And I was just like, that's not quite the clarification I was looking for, but this is a very funny and technically accurate response nonetheless. Because like I thought she was just waiting for them to finish saying like an update. Yeah, it's like she's not wrong. It's like, but it's like I thought she was waiting for them to finish an update, and then she just goes, because he's an idiot. And then she just went back to like listening to them, and I was like, she's not wrong, technically. So he had to go to Busan for a ceremony. All of the Yangbang guards were present, making the whole affair feel quite regal. I have also stepped in to settle a quarrel or two, and may have had to calm down a few of the village drunks. All in all, though, it's quite peaceful here. It was a bit frustrating at first because I was so hungry for action, but in retrospect, life has been peaceful. That's how it should be. Thanks for the detailed explanation. Are you going to tell me more about what you've been doing in Hanyang for the past 3 years? Of course. How about over dinner at the Jumok tonight? It'll be my treat. Suha should be there too, so I can tell the both of you everything that happened during my time in Hanyang. An excellent idea. You can tell us over a nice meal and a few drinks. That may be just what we need to celebrate your return. I'm glad you agree. Well then, time to get back to work. I'll see you tonight. Indeed. See you tonight. Alright. Alright, back to home. Oh, it's nighttime. The day flew by so fast. Still, I'm glad I had enough time to visit Mr. Kim and my friends. From what I can see, it doesn't seem like a whole lot has changed during my absence. Yangdong is still just a peaceful village filled with kind people. Unless something crazy happens, I predict a boring start to my new career. Oh, Yuri. But that's nothing to complain about. Isn't everyone being happy and getting on great? It would be a shame if something happened and ruined this. Yeah, exactly, God Force. Yeah, and he jinxed it. It will give me the opportunity to put everything I've learned to good use. Honestly, it's just good to be home. I can finally enjoy some peace and quiet. I enjoyed my time in the capital, but I must confess that I found the city to be a noisy place year-round. Here in the countryside, things are different. I can hear the sounds of nature, and it's even quieter out here, far from the town square. It's good to hear that my friends are doing well. Speaking of friends, I'd better put away my things. Are you going to find the norige? Are you going to remember? I started tidying up all of the luggage I had dumped in the entranceway that afternoon. Once again, I had to note just how considerate Suha was as I stumbled upon a bundle of fresh fruits and vegetables she'd left for me in the kitchen. She must have known that I had nothing to eat and shopped around while I was off talking to Yoonbok and Mr. Kim. Soon after, the sun was scraping the horizon. I headed out, directing my steps toward the Jumok for my meeting with Suha and Yoonbok. So we still didn't find the norige. Jumok! Alright, time to hit the pub. Oh man! Oh man! Oh gosh. Ah, man, that outdoor table sitting area. It's like the lady gave it to us. The lady disappeared. It's clearly going to be crucial for something, right? There he is. Hey, Yuri. Good evening, Yuri. You're both here already? Of course, Master Yuri, conqueror of the legendary Guago exam, summoned us for dinner. You think we'd let you beat us here? Congratulations again, Yuri. Thank you for coming. I'm so glad to see you both again. Were you able to put your feet up at all? Not really, but Mr. Kim gave me the day off tomorrow, so I can rest up before starting any real work. So, thankfully, I will have some time for myself. Look at you! It's been a while since I've gotten a day off. With you here, maybe I'll finally get some vacation time. We can only hope. By the way, Sua, thank you for bringing over the fresh produce. You really shouldn't have. It's nothing, really. I just figured your cupboards would be bare and you probably wouldn't have any time to shop for food. No, I think you did spell it right. I think you did spell Chekhov right. Well, let's go on in then. Tonight's on me. Order whatever you like. Wow, look at money bags. Yuri over here. Strike it rich during your big trip? Not at all. Far from it, actually. I'm just happy to see you both is all. We're happy to see you too, Yuri. Well, since it's on you and you can afford it, let's have that drink. Hey, miss! The lady who ran the Jumont came to our table. What can I get for the three of you? One bottle. Makgeolli! Hey! Wow, going all out with the makgeolli. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Sorry, every time I see it's like, I know that thing. I'm like that one gif of Leonardo, that one, like, I know that reference meme or something like that. It's like, I know what that is. Yeah, it is a rice wine created. It has a chalky texture when mixed, but the top layer, yeah, so like, I think you can use mung beans. I've almost only ever seen it made with rice. So I'm used to it being like a cloudy white look to it. And then it's like, you mix it up because the sediments from the grains will settle and it'll have like clear alcohol on top, and then you like mix it up and pour it. I'm used to it being a cloudy white made from rice specifically. One bottle of makgeolli for me, please. Sua, what would you like to drink? I'll just have some sujunggwa if that's all right. Oh, sujunggwa, okay. I don't drink sujunggwa because I'm not crazy on cinnamon, but that's a very popular drink. I think it's a slightly sweet drink. Usually I drink shike. But it's not alcoholic. So she's just kind of having like something nice to drink. In this era, I think this was the era where like water wasn't a commonplace thing. Like potable water was a big deal. So you would get a lot of like barley tea, for example, or roasted corn tea, roasted barley or roasted corn. So boricha or oksusucha that you would drink in place of water because potable water wasn't as widespread. Are you sure? Yes, it will do me just fine. You know that I'm not much for alcohol. Fair enough. Well then, I'll join you with the makgeolli, Yunbok. Anything to eat? How's samgyetang sound? Samgyetang? Ah, samgyetang. Okay. Chicken soup made with ginseng. Yes, okay, I have seen this. I didn't know that's what it was called. Yeah, they stuffed the entire chicken with rice and herbs. Yeah. Oh, that sounds great. I haven't had samgyetang in quite some while. Is it samgyetang? What's the Hangul for that? Samgyetang. What is the Hangul, please, so I can pronounce it correctly? Samgyetang. Samgyetang. Yeah, samgyetang. Okay. Samgyetang. I'll have a bowl as well. 3 bowls of samgyetang, please. Coming right up. Well then, Yuri, how about we hear what happened when you arrived at the capital? Well, Mr. Kim had given me a letter of recommendation that I was to present at the royal palace. But the place was so big I knew I'd never be able to find my way alone, so I asked some of the guards patrolling the grounds for directions. Then, when I showed up at the entrance to the palace, someone rushed straight over. He didn't seem at all surprised to see me, and I later found out that it was quite common for the Yongbans to send their young employees in for training. The person asked me about my current physical condition and said that I would have to take an evaluation test the following day. After that, I was taken to the place where I was to live for the next 3 years. It was nothing but a small enclosure outside of the palace walls, built to house the servants. Did the servants gather to greet you? I wouldn't go as far to say that. There were quite a few people living there, but they were rather indifferent to my arrival. There were so many people coming and going that most paid no heed to newcomers or the people moving on to other things. During my time in Hanyang, I learned that the more crowded a place gets, the less people care about those around them. There's such a different energy in the air. So you didn't make any friends? Don't get me wrong, some of the other people turned out to be quite friendly. But it took time. For instance, the girls in charge of the washing were very considerate and even helped me with my laundry. Eventually, I even began to take my evening meals with the others residing in the servants' quarters. As time passed, I began to feel like I was no longer a stranger. And that's when you met that pretty lady, right? Huh? No, don't listen to him. That was not the purpose of my visit. What's the matter, Suha? What's the matter with me? Nothing at all. Why do you ask? Never mind. Forget I even asked. Alright, we got a wingman. Alright, Umbok, you a real one. You're a real one, my guy. Haha. Umbok is a real one. That was when I began my training. Bro, don't rock the childhood friendship, right? He's sitting there already trying to wingman. It's like, alright, I see what's going on here. Most of the time I was working with a bow and arrow, on the ground and from horseback. My instructors were always stressing how important it was to be good on a horse, so I practiced riding every day. All of that practice must have taken its toll. It did, plus the Guago exam only takes place every 3 years. And it is further divided into 3 stages that you must pass through. Each component requires you to call upon your training and put it to good use. Plus, you'd rather hope that your body is in good condition and that luck is on your side each and every day you go in for an examination. Few of the examinees fell from their horses and were immediately disqualified. That's how hard it was. Damn. Now you're craving bulgogi? And they'll have to wait 3 more years to try again? That's right. Also, you may not be aware, but it's the king who decides the final test. Yeah, bulgogi is... Oh, now I kind of want some bulgogi. I don't think... Did my mom make any bulgogi before she left? I don't think she did. Mother did not leave me any bulgogi to heat up while she was gone. Alas. Really? Then you were in the presence of the king? I was. Sad bear. Yeah. My mom left stuff for me to... It's funny because I don't eat a lot of Korean food, to be honest, because I'm bad with vegetables, and Korean food is a lot of vegetables. So I don't actually eat most of the stuff my mom cooks. Believe it or not. Everyone's like, what do you mean? You don't like kimchi? And I'm like, I don't like the texture when I eat it. Like, don't get me wrong, it tastes good, but I don't enjoy the texture of kimchi. Oh, you're the same with Filipino food? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's not just me. It's like... Yeah. Did a package at Trader Joe's and I seared on a... Oh, well, I mean, most Korean food is meant to be eaten with rice, to be fair. So, definitely support it being eaten over rice. Package at Trader Joe's. Ah. Sometimes I forget that they sell that stuff pre-made at stores nowadays, because I'm just so like... Package Trader Joe's? And it's like, oh, right, that is a thing that you can just do these days. It's funny because like the standard restaurant recipe, over the years, I've realized just how much sugar they put in it. Yeah, because my mom doesn't use sugar in her recipe. She uses like honey or other stuff instead. So like I'm used to it having like not as much of like that sugar sweet taste. So it's funny because like sometimes I'll go to a restaurant and I'm like, it's so sweet. Why is it so sweet? It's because they put tons of sugar in it. Wow, I didn't even know that. After passing all 3 tests, I was sent to the Porochang for further training. Poro? Agency for Arresting Thieves. Oh. Government body tasked with arresting and punishing criminals during the Joseon era. Ah! Okay. The hanja for that must be different because Poro is also grape in Korean. So when I read Porochang, I was like, grape? Okay, so basically he kind of got sent to the police academy. That was where I learned the basics of how to conduct a proper investigation. In Hanyang, there are occasional murders and robberies. When those sorts of crimes are committed, we must track down the criminals at once. Quesadilla came out of the oven nice. Ooh, that's good. I haven't had a quesadilla in a while. Wait, what am I saying? I had a quesadilla earlier this week. That's not that long ago. Why was I about to say I haven't had a quesadilla in a while? What is wrong with my head? I'm glad it came out nice and crispy, though. In order to do so, we must investigate the scene of the crime and cross-examine any possible suspects or witnesses. And that was the best part for me, piecing together the clues one at a time to uncover the truth. It is in Skrunkle Bear years, yeah! It was quite interesting. There's even this manual explaining the steps to follow for each and every type of crime. Sounds interesting. You got me busted there, but I'm not sure how you're going to put such skills to use here. Did you catch any criminals? I did help the investigator solve a few cases towards the end of my stay. All this talk of food, and here I am supposed to be getting into Gunpla mode. I know, I'm getting hungry too. But I'm still just a novice, and I've got a lot to learn. However, I don't see myself being able to hone those skills if I end up staying here. You could help track down a few stray cats every now and then. Gonna be making tummy noises during stream, yeah? Very funny. Besides the investigative skills, I also learned how to patrol a set area and act as a bodyguard. It's quite common for the Yongbans to require a guard detail to escort them places. But overall, it was an enjoyable experience. It was. Quite so. Of course, I missed you both and felt rather lonely from time to time, but all in all, it was a fascinating experience. I learned so many skills that I never would have been able to learn elsewhere. Considering my birth and class, I consider myself fortunate to have been given such an opportunity. Oh, gunmetal silver on the edge. Nice touch. I like that. It sounds like you put the time to good use. I want to hear more about the capital. What was it like? You were talking about how large and crowded it was. Yeah, it's enormous, with at least 200,000 inhabitants, if I were to guess. What? Really? You heard me. 200,000. On top of that, the royal palace is a city in itself, but I was never allowed inside. It's restricted to all but the royal family and the elite guards who watch over them. What did you do for Chuseok then? Did you spend the holidays alone? Chuseok is a fall festival. Let's see what they say here about it. Chuseok. Korean harvest festival similar to Thanksgiving, but celebrated with a ritual honoring one's departed ancestors, various folk games, large amounts of food, and alcoholic beverages. Yeah. The ritual honoring is a component of it, but it's a big family it's a harvest festival and like a big family gathering holiday too. Like Chuseok is a very busy time of year travel-wise. And there's certain dishes that you eat around Chuseok. But yeah, that's not a bad explanation. It more or less is a harvest festival, but yeah, that's definitely the time where they do the traditional. I know in Chinese culture they have the thing where like you burn offerings to the dead and whatnot, and Chuseok is when they do that in Korea. Waiting on the newer gray panel lining pens. Ooh. Oh, it came with its own action base? Nice. But yeah, he's asking about spending Chuseok alone because it's usually when you gather with like family and whatnot, which he probably gathered with the other orphans because he grew up in an orphanage. No, there are all sorts of Chuseok events held in the city, a bit like how we do things here. One time, I was lucky enough to see a Namsadang troupe perform on the streets of Hanyang. Namsadang, okay, so street acrobats. Got it, Namsadang. Gotcha, Nam is man, Sa, I don't know, and Dang is probably group. Nah, homie, chill with your wifey best friend, yeah. Namja? Is it the Nam in Namja? Sa... I wonder. Wow, that's amazing. I would love to see such a performance. I also attended a Shiram. Shiram is traditional Korean wrestling. Yeah. Yeah, it is similar. So Shiram is similar. Yeah, it's kind of like, you know how sumo is about like you grab the belt and then you like wrestle your opponent? It's like that, but they don't get to a certain size. And I don't think it's as ritualized as sumo is. There was a really popular entertainer a while back. I don't think he's still active, but he started out as a famous wrestler, basically. A famous traditional wrestler. Since there are so many people living in the city, the stadium was packed with participants and spectators alike. The prize pool was also significantly larger. I will cherish the memories of my time there. The woman brought the dishes and drinks we ordered to our table. Oh, okay. Alright, that's 3 bowls of samgyetang, a picture of sujungwa, and a bottle of makgeolli for 2. Aw, they even put the little grains in the sujungwa. That's cute. Thank you. How about a drink to Yuri? Gonbe? 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 I don't... Would you spell that, Gonbe? What? Gonbe? Gonbe, is it? Gonbe. Oh, it is Gonbe. Gonbe. Oh! Gonbe, Gonbe. That might be a dialect thing. That might be a dialect thing. Kampai. Yeah, it's the Korean equivalent of kampai. I feel like I know it more as like a gumbe. I wonder, gumbe? Or am I just misremembering? Gombe. Gombe. Okay, so the Hangul is gombe. Gombe. I see. Yeah. I think that one might be one of those things where I know a dialect variation. I will have to double check. Gombe. Capital seems like a nice enough place. I'm sure you would enjoy it if you ever got the chance to go. You can find anything you could possibly dream of there. There are all sorts of foods and other goods that we simply don't have here. We ate... Oh, in Tagalog it's tage? Oh! It's interesting how it kind of has a similar, like, flow to it in that region in general. Interesting. We ate, drank, and talked on for several hours. I must be heading home before it gets too late. Same here. I have to get an early start tomorrow. I had a wonderful night. Thanks, Yuri. You're welcome. I'm just glad we were finally able to spend some time together again. I'll see you home, Suwa. We're headed in the same direction. Alright, let's go. Good night, Yumbak. Good night, you two. Yumbak's probably watching them walk off and being like, nice. The sun had long since fallen, and I found myself peering this way and that as if I were Sua's bodyguard. What are you doing, Yuri? Sorry, I was taught to be careful at night. I guess it's become somewhat of a habit from my time in the capital. That's very kind of you to be so alert, but you know you don't need to do that. This place is far from the capital in both distance and danger. You're right. I'll work on it. Do you think you'll enjoy living here again? Life here's different from life in Hanyang. Only time will tell. For the moment, I'm just glad to be back. Knock on wood, yeah. If you were to find it difficult to adapt, could you return to the capital? As you know, I don't think I'm in any position to be choosing where I'm assigned. True. If you were told to go back to Hanyang, you'd tell me, right? Of course. Well, here we are, Sua. Head on in. Thank you, Yuri. Have a good night. Will I see you tomorrow? Sure, I'll be around. Sweet dreams. After seeing Sua inside, I went straight home. It had been a pleasant evening with plenty of drinks to go around, but I could feel the exhaustion from the trip catching up to me. I was asleep before my head hit the pillow. When are we gonna find a corpse? All right. Wakey, wakey. Anyone home? Was that someone at my door? Hello? Anyone there? No, you're supposed to linger. Hand-holding in Joseon? The absolute scandal of the idea. You're gonna, on the first day of the job, we'll find a body. It's so early. Who could be calling at this hour? Officer Yuri? I threw off my blanket and rushed to the door. Officer Yuri, I'm so sorry to disturb you. Oh, this guy has such an NPC design. Look at him. You must come at once. Oh, what's going on? Masato sent for you. He says it's urgent. Okay, but why is he... Sir, there's been an incident in the village. Oh, a body! Yay! I understand. Where am I to report? The town hall? Yes, and please hurry. I won't be more than a minute. Let me just get my things. I put on my got and readied my horse. The hat? Yes, traditional hat worn by men. Yo, hey Sam, good to see you. They were woven out of horsehair. The black got symbolized by that a man had passed. Oh, yay, a body. I mean, plot. I jumped up into the saddle and we set off at a gallop for the Yongbon district. So he has a hat that specifically means he passed the exam. So he is a smart boy hat. Okay, I shouldn't be laughing, but this scroll up here, like everything else looks like hand drawn, and then this looks like it was typed with a PC font. I was like, oh yeah. Dude, the reveal in MGS2 was kind of crazy, Zam. Like, do you see what I'm talking about? It looks like it was just typed. The reveal was crazy. I had to go stand in the bathtub for a bit to process. Apparently that's how I cope with processing Metal Gear Solid, is I'll just go stand in the shower and have to think for a bit. We still have the fight with Solidus left before we finish the game, though, so we're almost there. When I got to the town hall, Mr. Kim and Mr. Lee were waiting for me. They looked concerned. That indeed. Yeah. So I have to... I cope with it by standing in the shower, or I have to go talk and try to explain it to the dog, and she just looks at me like, what are you talking about? And I'm just like, Scrimble, please. You called for me. We did, Yuri. Please, have a seat. You saw Yumbok yesterday, did you not? That unique thinking, yeah. I have to. I have to process the game. Oh no. Tell me, what sort of a state was he in when you saw him? Did something happen to Yumbok? The god said... The god? The guard said there had been Not Yumbok, no! For now, please focus on answering my questions. All shall be explained in time. Understood. Have to admit, half the time you were misdirecting me? No! You were intentionally misdirecting me, please. Not the wingman. No, it's so funny because I regard her as like my baby sister on the family tree because she's my parents' dog technically. So instead of please master, I just like, please big sis, just look at your string theory. I'm a dog. I'm sorry, Scrimble. Can you tell I'm talking about you? Can you tell your Uni is talking about you, Scrimble? I'm sorry. Did I wake you up? She's looking at me from the bed, just like, I am trying to sleep. I saw him twice yesterday. Yeesh, you're loud, Uni. The first time we met, it was early in the afternoon, just after I arrived. We had a short chat at his place. At night, we met once more at a Jumok, the one close to the southern gate, a short distance from my house. We had dinner together. Suo was with us too. When did you part ways? It was pretty late in the evening when we said our goodbyes. You went straight home? I'm the same with Freya, my mom's cat. So it says, yeah, like I mostly take care of her. And my mom has joked that she's more my dog now, but I'm just like, no, she's your dog and she's my baby sister. Yes, sir. I walked Suo home and then went straight home myself. I remember Yumbok saying that he needed to get up early in the morning and that he didn't want to go to bed too late. He made it sound like he was going straight back to his place. Mr. Kim, did you instruct Yumbok to report for duty early this morning? I did not. I see. Yuri, was Yumbok acting strange at all? No, sir, I don't believe so. Forgive me if I'm stepping out of line, but would you please tell me what's happened to Yumbok? You should tell him. Yuri, there has been a murder. One of the women in the village. She was found dead in her home this morning. What? Good scare cord drop there. I like that scare cord drop. It seems as though your return has brought with it a share of bad luck. I'm truly sorry, sir. Well then, Yuri. I heard from Mr. Lee that you learned how to carry out an investigation. Is that correct? Yes, sir, it is. And you are to look into this affair and give us a report of your findings. Sirs, are you implying that Yumbok is a suspect? Let us not jump to conclusions without seeing the evidence first. That being said, he claimed that he had duties to carry out early this morning, though that is clearly not the case. In addition to that unsettling fact, he has disappeared from the village without a word of warning. You must see how suspicious this looks. It is your duty to uncover the truth behind this matter. We are aware of how close the two of you are, but you must remain impartial. Can we trust you to carry out this investigation in an unbiased manner? Yes, sir. You have my word. Yuri, this rumor will spread like wildfire throughout the village, and the people may start to panic. I have lived my entire life in Yangdong, but I have never experienced anything like this. This is Phoenix Wright. The first case is defending a friend in a murder case. Oh my god. I trust that you will do your very best to catch the person responsible for this heinous act. Heinous? Heinous. I said it with a slightly German pronunciation. Yumbok equals Larry Butts. No! Could you start by giving me some information about the victim? Remember when I talked about the theory that every Metal Gear game besides 2 and 4? Yeah! I do remember you mentioning that, and I was like, that's a kooky theory. I probably need to play more of the games to get what he's talking about. And then it was like... Oh. Well then. Her name was Miss Han. She lived alone, somewhere to the north. And we believe she was murdered? There is not a doubt. Go and see the crime scene for yourself. Yes, sir. I shall head there at once. Yuri, Are you certain you're up for this task? Yes, sir. I have taken part in this exact sort of investigation. I will give it my all. Then you may go. Report back the instant you have any new information for us. Is it gonna be the lady we saw? Is she gonna be the corpse? What is going on here? This must be a bad dream. Yeah, it's actually kind of eerie because it did start as a joke and now it's like, wait, actually, it is starting to add up. What is happening here? I can't believe Yoonbok would ever do something so horrible. I'd better get to the bottom of this at once and prove his innocence. But first things first, to the scene of the crime. Miss Han's house. Yeah, I know. We're on our way to a murder scene. I rode as fast as I could to the home of Miss Han. When I arrived, I found a guard posted at her door. He looked a little shaking. Sir, you must be Yuri? I am. I have orders to let you in. The mystery. Yeah. Do we have any witnesses? Yes, the woman next door. She's discovered the body this morning. Did she explain how she happened upon the corpse? Apparently they are co-workers, so they walk to work together most mornings. Is she home now? Yes, she lives right over there. He pointed at the house next door. You're gonna make some popcorn. Yeah, we're about to find a crime scene, baby. She is in shock, but you should be able to get a few answers out of her. The charm planted in my bag! How have you come about this information? I live nearby, so I heard the screams. That's when I rushed in and saw the body. And after that, I went straight to the Sato to tell him what I found. He came to see for himself and then told me to stand guard until you arrived. Does the victim have any next of kin? No, sir. Not in this village. According to her neighbors, she lived alone. Very well. I will go in and examine the body. I'm going to need you to stand guard a little while longer. After that, I will question the witness. Understood. Let me get this straight. A woman goes to her neighbor's house early in the morning before heading off to work. She finds her neighbor lying dead in her home and screams in shock. This guard, who lives nearby, hears the scream and rushes over. He confirms that the victim is dead. Now to examine the body. I can only hope that I'll be able to determine the cause of death. Let's see the body, baby. Let's... Ew. They're very good with the scare chord drops so far. I like how they're timing those little flourishes. Oh my god. Where is Sherlock Holmes? Well, in England, presumably. Unfortunately for Sherlock Holmes, we are in medieval Korea. Yeah, they've been really good with like timing the hits. There's blood everywhere. What on earth? I don't even know where to begin. How could anyone do such a thing? I've never laid eyes on such a sight, even during my time in the Hanyang. Still, I must focus. This is my duty. There is no room for errors. Despite the egregious damage the body has sustained, none of the limbs or other body parts seem to be missing. Actually, it seems as though the killer didn't even touch the arms or the legs. It's only her midsection that has been torn to shreds. But there's so much blood, I can't make out the full extent of her wounds. Considering that the body is stretched out on its back, the woman must have been attacked from the front. But I must confess, I can't accurately claim to know much more than that. The bleeding has stopped, so I can at least say for certain that she was killed some time ago. Oh, geez, no wonder the neighbor lady screamed. Let's have a look around the room. Considering the fact that there's nothing scattered about the floor and nothing broken that I can see, it doesn't look like she put up much of a struggle. Nothing of note about the front door either. Let's step back and think this through. It clearly was a chest burster. She probably died from the wound to the chest. Now I'm getting 999 investigation to rooms. Yeah! She probably died from the wound to the chest. How is it possible that nobody heard a thing? Well, if it was a chest burster from the movie Aliens, she never got the chance to scream. Who would she let into her home so late at night? It must have been someone she knew. She was hit by a smooth criminal. I can't tell for sure if anything was stolen. If that were the case, the drawers would all be open, or there'd be some sign that the criminal was searching for something. As it stands, there's no clear motive. It just looks like a random act of violence. There's nothing more for me to see here for the time being. I should go question my witness. Bye, Miss Han. Have you finished your inspection of the body? Yes, you may remove the remains. Yes, sir. You saw it, didn't you? Indeed, I did. Avoid giving out any details if people ask you what you saw. Any word of this could start a panic. Understood. He started away at once, and I headed next door. After a few knocks, the door opened. May I come in? A quiet voice answered. Yes, please do. Let me start off by introducing myself. My name is Yuri, and I'm in charge of looking into what happened here. I would like to ask you a few questions, if that's okay with you. Your account of this morning may help clear up a few of the details surrounding the case. She looked a little wobbly on her feet. I didn't need to ask why. I had to try to put her mind at ease. Take all the time you need. We're in no rush. Thank you. I think I'll be all right. What would you like to know? This shouldn't take very long. Glad to hear that. How long have you known... Like, I'm sitting here like, these are actually pretty solid questions. How long have you known the deceased? I've known her for quite a number of years now. And you've been working together all this time? That's right. I see. And last night, did you walk home together? Yes, we did, but I didn't see her again after I arrived home. I stayed home to tidy up my place and didn't step foot outside. You wouldn't happen to know what Miss Han did when she got home, did you? I can't say for sure, but I don't think I heard any visitors stop by in the late afternoon or early evening. What makes you so sure? Our houses are so close together that we can sometimes hear when the other has guests. I'm quite sure that she stayed at home by herself. And you heard nothing out of the ordinary? It was as quiet an evening as ever. I normally sleep through the night, and there was no sound loud enough to wake me. So when the murder took place, I guess I must have been asleep. You can't blame yourself for something like that. All right, and where do you work? I understand that the two of you work together. Can you tell me what you do? I am a weaver. Do you own a shop? No, I'm just an employee. So is she. How many people do you work with? A handful. I'm going to need to have a word with your boss. Would you mind telling me where you work? The shop is located next to the market. It's owned by Mr. Ho. I was told that she lived alone. Was she a widow? No, she never married. That's a little unusual. Does she have any family you know of? Her parents live in another town, and I never heard of any brothers or sisters that might live around here. That... Huh. Part of me is wondering if that would have actually been a thing back then. Because I feel like in Korea, you generally wouldn't strike out on your own. especially if you were an unmarried woman. Like, it's one thing when it's someone who was an orphan, but if she actually had living parents, I'm not sure if that's something that would have been a thing back then. More research to be done. At least, she never mentioned anything about siblings, and she wasn't one to keep something like that to herself. She got along well with everyone, at work and in her personal life. You know, the type of person who would give you the very shirt off their back. That was her. I see. Then she must have had quite the social life, yes? That's right. Is it possible that she might have gotten into an argument with someone? Have any such rumors been floating about? Absolutely not. Yes, the everyone liked her case, yeah. And finally, did she have any valuables? Do you know if she kept any sort of valuables at her place that could serve as a motive for murder? Not to my knowledge. Yuri, is what happened to her going to happen to me? Not a chance. We'll post a guard to watch over you. There's no reason to be concerned. Can you really be so sure? I give you my word. We're going to catch the person who did that to her. Thank you for taking the time to answer my questions. Now, I think you should get some rest. I will go have a talk with your boss. If you remember anything at all, please come and find me. I live near the South Gate, next to Sua's farm, if you know where that is. And if I'm not there, you can always talk to the village Sato, Mr. Lee. Okay. Take care of yourself. I headed out. All right, interesting. So in other words, we don't know a whole lot. So I should have her to Yoonbok's place to see if he's home. So currently, there's nothing refuting the chestburster theory so far. I'm just saying, it could still be a chestburster. Yoonbok, are you in there? No answer. No sign that anyone's home for that matter. Maybe their neighbor will know something? I went over to the next door neighbor's house. Hello, is anyone home? Yep, who's asking? Oh dear me, Yuri, is that you? Her neighbor was an elderly man I knew quite well. Yes, sir, I got back yesterday. An alien universe visual novel. I think if it was written right and they were careful with how they leveraged the music, they could actually make something really solid, especially if you had like branching paths for like choose your own adventure, can you survive the alien, because I have seen some visual novels that they can run some really tight suspense. Yeah, exactly. Like with good writing, you can build a solid atmosphere in a solid kinetic novel situation. Ah, good to hear. How'd everything go? Very well, thank you. No one's seen Yoonbok today. Have you happened to see him around? I can't say that I have. Not today, at least. I'm so yeah, everyone's like in agreement, like, actually, yeah, if you did it right. And certain choice exactly. Like certain choices would like either doom you or doom a crewmate, stuff like that. Yeah, that could be super interesting. You should go and have a chat with his parents. They're usually at their shop around this time. It's actually my next stop. If he by chance does return home, would you please tell him that Yuri is looking for him? Something similar to the OG Alien 3 script. There's a version on Audible that got the actors for Hicks and Bishop to reply their roles. Oh. Thank you for your time. That's neat. You have a good day. I need to stop by his parents' shop. They'll know best about their son's whereabouts. All right, the pottery shop. Ooh. Little village market. Ah, Yuri! Good morning, sir. It's been far too long. Yoonbok told us last night that you arrived. It's great to see you. The next Dark Pictures game is going to be sci-fi horror? Ooh. Oh, Dark Pictures. If they're doing sci-fi, that might be interesting. Yeah, because their games have always been kind of interesting. It's good to see you too. How's business? Same old, same old. You? Not too tired from your trip? No, sir. I had a good night's rest. Look at you youngins walking halfway across the country and thinking nothing of it. We heard you passed the exam. Congratulations are in order. Stop by for dinner sometime. You can tell us about it. I'd love to. Listen, I know that some guards dropped by this morning to inform you, but Yoonbok's gone missing. Mr. Lee asked me to locate him. Would you mind if I asked you a few questions? I had no doubt about Yoonbok's innocence, but finding him would dispel some of the suspicion hanging over his head. Of course, anything for you, Yuri. Dark Picture games tend to... Yeah! Directive 8020, no release date yet. Oh, interesting. Yeah, because I know the, what was the first one they did? It was the... Was that the one with the girl from Heroes in it? Hayden Penna... I can never say her last name. Was that Dark Pictures, or was that different stuff? I know... What was it? Man from Medan or something like that was one. Until Dawn. Because they had Man of Medan. They had the one with... I think it was in the Middle East. In Afghanistan that I forget. And then they had another one that was like... House of Ashes. Yeah, House of Ashes was another one I remember. And then... I think... What's the one I'm thinking about? It was like in the middle, but I remember it was like US soldiers in Afghanistan or something like that. I can't remember if that was Dark Pictures or not. Alright, anyways, we gotta interrogate our friend's dad. I got confirmation that he returned home last night after our dinner together at the Juma. He didn't go out anywhere after that, did he? Not to my knowledge. He talked a bit before heading to bed, and he told us all about going out to dinner with you and Suha. I just assumed he'd gone to bed after that. Then you didn't see him this morning. Oh, Until Dawn pretty much started the whole thing by Supermassive Games. Yeah, I remember, like, because they got, like, actors for the characters and stuff. I only played Until Dawn, and my friend played most of the Dark Pictures games. Ah. Nope, he was gone by the time we woke up. Around what time was that? Shortly after sunrise. It's not unusual for him to be gone before sunup? Not at all. He's known to get up early when he has to oversee the opening of the market. House of Ashes is the only one that has US soldiers. What was the other one then? There was another one that I thought it was like a bus crash or something, and then like people were experiencing things. Okay, I realize that doesn't narrow it down at all because people are experiencing things could basically apply to any of the games. That being said, when the guards told us of his disappearance, I went to have a look around his room. That's when I noticed that his uniform and the various knickknacks he carries around with him were right where he normally leaves them. Is that so? Strange, huh? He always takes his things with him, even when he's not on duty. Did he tell you if he had the day off today? Can't remember him saying anything of the sort. Last night he told us that he had to get up early today, but he didn't tell us why. Maybe he had work to do outside the village? That's what I was thinking too. But if that were the case, wouldn't you have seen him pack a lunch? He should have at least told the two of you, no? I agree. It's all very strange. I really don't know what to tell you. Yuri, you looked worried. The guards that showed up at our place this morning had that same look on their faces. Could you please tell me what's going on? I was hoping to avoid this question at all costs. Well, the rumor is going to reach you eventually, so I think it's best if you hear it from me. A woman was murdered in the village last night. My word! Murder here in Yangdong. Yes, sir. This is the first I'm hearing of it. I know. I'm finding it hard to believe myself. That's why we're looking for Yoonbok. He went missing around the same time the murder took place. Now things are starting to make sense. And it's you in charge of figuring out who did it, right? That's right. Mr. Kim and Mr. Lee put me in charge of the investigation. Well, I'm glad they put this in your capable hands, but that doesn't make me any less worried about Yoonbok. Are they pointing the finger at him? No, we don't have enough evidence to confirm him as a suspect. Don't you worry, Yoonbok isn't capable of something like that. It's all just a very unfortunate coincidence. But I'll sure to stop by and tell you if I hear anything. Alright, Yuri, thank you. I must be off. I've got a lot of work ahead of me. Okay. So next we should be going to the pottery shop. Yoonbok did return home last night after our dinner together. He had a chat with his parents and then went to bed. From what his father told me, he must not have been going about his normal business because he left his things in his room. Unfortunately, that doesn't give us any clues as to where he went. My friend is missing! Well, I'm here at the market. I had to stop by this workshop owned by Mr. Ho. It's only a short walk from here. Okay. Did they have a Sprite? Ah, welcome. Good morning. I'm looking for the owner of this establishment, Mr. Ho. Ah, that would be me. What can I do for you? Do you have a few minutes? I'd like to speak with you in private. I'm currently on assignment from Mr. Lee. The reason I've come by concerns the 2 employees who didn't show up for work this morning. Ah, then by all means, step this way. He led me to a corner of his shop. I'm afraid I have some bad news. Let me hear it. One of your employees, Miss Han, will not be returning to work. Why? What happened to her? She died last night. What? Her neighbor, the other employee who didn't show up today, she's the one who found her this morning. She's still in shock, so we instructed her to rest at home. I expect that she will return to work soon, once she recovers. Of course, but Miss Han, how did she die? She was murdered. Murdered? Here? In this village? Yes, we're sure of it. I've been living here for over 40 years. I've never heard of such a thing happening. It's hard to believe, I know. How tragic. She was a fine worker. She was dear to us all. Her friends will be sad to hear of her passing. But worse than that, if the others hear that we have a murderer in the village, there will be panic in the streets. Yes, I do believe you're right in thinking that. Either way, I'm in charge of the investigation, and I'll do my best to catch the person responsible for this. I hope you get your guy, and quick. From what I've gathered, Ms. Han had no family in Yangdong. But it sounds like she had quite the group of friends. Is that so? It is. Could you give me a list of her acquaintances, the people closest to her? Ah, that shouldn't be a problem. He wrote down a short list of names. Thank you. Does she normally interact with your customers? Hardly ever. Sales is my job. Have you gotten wind of any quarrels that might have been stirred up recently? No conflicts that I'm aware of. I was told that she was never married, but do you know if she was seeing anyone? Again, not that I'm aware of. Alright, that's all I needed to know. I won't keep you any longer. I think I'll close up shop for the day and break this horrible news to her co-workers. I hope they don't take it too hard. I took my leave and exited the shop. I still can't figure out the motive for this crime. That woman being the victim makes no sense at all. Tomorrow I'll have to return to the market and question the people on the list Mr. Ho gave me. But before anything else, I need to make my report to Mr. Lee and Mr. Kim. Alright. The town hall. Actually, I wonder what that scroll says. Hang on, I have to... Where is Google Translate, and then I'm gonna have to handwrite those characters. Korean handwrite. That's like and then there. Oh no, you don't recognize that? Is it? Wait, does this thing not recognize Hanja if I write Hanja? Ah, shit. It doesn't. All right, I have to try a different language. Hang on. Where's Chinese? Put tool. Ah, shit. I don't. Uh-oh. It's not. So it's Hanja, which is Chinese characters. I think it was this one. That looks right. And then I don't know the stroke order for this character. Oh god. Yeah, I might have to do that. Dongliang? What? Okay, let's put this back into Korean. Dongliang? It doesn't help that the character sprite's in the way, so I can't actually see what it's supposed to say. Okay, that can't be right. Good? That doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right at all. Please, begin. The victim died due to injuries she sustained to the chest and abdomen, probably done with some sort of sharp instrument. Do you think we were not able to conclude as much? Mrs. Han was a weaver by trade, and on the day of the murder, she went to work just as she always did. She and her neighbor walked to the market almost every day since they worked together. After work, they walked back home together sometime around the middle of the afternoon. According to her neighbor's account, she did not go out again, nor did she receive any visitors. Our chief witness went to bed early in the evening and was not awakened by any sort of commotion. Considering the state of the body, I'm quite certain that she died sometime in the night. There was no sign of forced entry or any sort of physical altercation inside the house. It makes me think that the victim must have been someone who she was... Wait. Makes me think that the victim must have been someone who she was familiar with and that... Is my brain not work correct? Makes me think that the victim must have been someone who she was familiar with, and that she let the perpetrator into her home. Must have been someone who she was familiar with? Okay. There's something about that the victim must have been someone who she was familiar with. Throws me off somehow. Yeah, like it makes me think that the suspect must have been someone who she was familiar with, and I feel like that makes more sense. Because it's like, oh, the victim must have been someone who she was familiar with. Well, yes, she was herself. I would hope she's familiar with herself. Do you suspect the neighbor? We can't rule her out, but considering the state I found her in, it's highly unlikely. Looking at how savagely the perpetrator mutilated the body, I have to tell you that this murder is like nothing I've ever seen. Yeah, not all translations are perfect. I was just kind of like, is this how English works? An act like that requires a certain amount of physical strength and a brash demeanor. I'm not sure the woman next door has either. I can agree with that assessment. I've yet to establish a motive for the murder. The victim seemed to be liked by those around her, and I could find no evidence of any sort of personal conflict. And it appears that nothing was stolen from her house. Then your investigation has turned up nothing. Is that what you were trying to tell us? It is likely that this murder was premeditated. Trick and treat Vian is really bad English, yeah. Since nothing was stolen, I believe this to be a crime of passion. It turns out to be the case more often than you'd like to believe. Interesting theory, but we need the evidence to back that up. How do you intend to find that evidence? Her employer provided me with a list of the people closest to her. My next move is to question them and learn more about the victim's personal life. I believe that one of the people on that list will be able to give me something to go on. It all sounds well and good, but my greatest concern is that news of this will soon spread. And without a suspect, only panic will ensue. Mr. Kim, I suggest that we name a culprit and throw him or her in jail. Knowing that we have this perpetrator behind bars will give some peace of mind to the people of the village. This next-door neighbor, for instance, she fits the bill quite nicely. What do you think of that, Yuri? I think it's a bit hasty. Please give me a little more time. If you were to accuse an innocent person, the results could be disastrous, both for your reputation and for the confidence that people place in you. Yes, I do believe that is the right call, Yuri. We have no choice but to wait and see what happens next. If that is what you believe to be best, Mr. Kim. So according to your statement, Yuri, the killer has the strength of a man and was a person the victim knew. Is that accurate? Lee seems really, like... He clearly doesn't have a lot of faith in me. Yes, I believe so. And does Yumbok fit your criteria? Have you truly not entertained the possibility? To be honest, sir, I don't believe he could have done something like this. You both know for a fact that Yumbok, as loyal as he is simply incapable of such an act. You say that because you're his friend, Yuri. But if you're incapable of viewing the situation as it stands, then how are we possibly supposed to trust you at finding the truth? You can trust me, sir. If he is responsible, I shall find him and hold him accountable for his actions. Have you found any clues about his disappearance? The chances of him being our culprit are slim to none, especially considering he didn't put on his uniform or take any of his things with him. Yeah, he just wants to resolve it really quick. Something about all of this just doesn't add up. Someone as diligent as Yumbok would not leave without his things if he was planning to be gone for an entire day. Then you must admit that he may be involved. We lack the evidence to say anything conclusive. He is right when it comes to detecting friends. Yeah, the friend shouldn't get a free pass. Is it weird that I'm suddenly hearing Mr. Lee being voiced by James Hong? I don't know who that is. But you are correct, we cannot completely rule him out as a suspect. But if I were to venture a guess, it would be that he heard a suspicious noise outside and went to investigate. As you know, we are trained to have keen ears. He may have seen something and fallen victim to the same fate as Miss Han. Or he may have had to escape from harm and hide himself away. That would account for his absence. Quite the imagination you have, boy. We are all aware of how perplexing this situation has become, but even though this is likely your first real case, we are counting on you to get to the bottom of it. Thank you for putting your faith in me, sir. Empty promises will not suffice. We need results. You shall resume your investigation tomorrow morning and report back once more at the end of the day. After those last unpleasant remarks, he sent me on my way. It seems like the pressure is getting to Mr. Lee, and he's more than willing to press that passer? Hello? More than willing to pass that pressure on to me. Oh my goodness. By tomorrow, I bet the whole village will know what happened. I'm going to have to work fast if I want to get to the bottom of this. Yeah. Man, this sucks. Yuri and Sua's neighborhood. Okay. Sua, you've been waiting for me? I have. Good evening, Yuri. You were supposed to have the day off, but I haven't seen you all day. I couldn't help but worry. Where have you been? You haven't heard. He was the Emperor's aide in— Oh! Poe's father in Kung Fu Panda. Oh, him! I know exactly who he is now. I guess I'm going to have to fill you in. Would you mind if we talked at your house? Of course. Do come in. Now we're back at whole house. Looks like something is on your mind. What happened? Mr. Lee called for me this morning. Why? Did something happen last night? Yes, there was an urgent matter that required my attention. A woman was murdered in the village last night. What? Hard to believe, right? Oh dear. That's not all. Yoonbok has disappeared. Nobody has seen him all day. He was in big trouble in Little China, Little Pan. I love his voice. Ah, Yoonbok. He didn't go home last night? No, he definitely went back to his place. I know because he talked with his parents before turning in for the night. But no one saw him this morning, which makes me think he left sometime during the night. This is also strange. And because of the mystery surrounding his disappearance, Mr. Lee strongly suspects that Yoonbok had a hand in the murder. No, not Yoonbok. That can't be true. What about you? What do you think? It's highly unlikely that Yoonbok was involved. Best scenes are him insulting Kurt Russell for being a dumb American. Oh my gosh. Who could do such a thing in our little village? I've started my investigation, and I can say that the answers will not come easily. Why is that? This was clearly no accident. The killer absolutely mutilated the body. I've never seen anything like it. But there were no eyewitnesses and no signs of a struggle. Mr. Lee is desperate to find a culprit, and as you can see, he is quick to point the finger at anyone he suspects. He's afraid of what will happen if people panic, making him quick to challenge any theory I put forth. After all, he is the village Sato, and his leadership would come under question if he were to allow a criminal to roam free. Imagine if the Youngbons from the neighboring villages were to hear about this. That wouldn't be good for his image. I still have time, but I'm going to have to act fast. Didn't you say you did this sort of work at Hanyang? That's right. I faced this sort of situation during my time in the capital. As I said yesterday, this sort of work interests me greatly. It's just that it's quite the sudden burden, and I'm carrying it alone. I have faith in you, Yuri. Tomorrow morning, I plan to visit the people who were closest to the victim. Many times, questioning can lead us to find certain contradictions. In turn, those clues can lead us straight to the Phoenix Wright. Here we go, baby. Ah, so that's how it works. We find the contradictions. The contradictions lead us to the truth. It is. How about we talk about something else? How was your day? My day went very well, thank you. I went to the market this morning and business was good. Then this afternoon I harvested my cabbages. They're in season, you know. You must be tired too then. A bit, yes, but tomorrow is the day I usually rest, so I should be able to relax. What do you have planned? I promised Sune that I would come play music with her. That's right, you mentioned something about that. How is Sune? Still single? Don't tell me you're interested in her? I'm not, just curious how she's been. I've been gone for 3 whole years. She could have gotten married for all I know. Nope, she hasn't. She's fine though. She lives by herself in the same house she always has, only a few minutes walk away. I see. Well, Suwa, I must be off. I need to collect my thoughts and record the events of the day. Say hello to Sune for me. I will. Good night. Sleep well. They're cute. I like them. Now we're back to my house. Nothing looks weird or out of place. Who would have imagined that this sort of thing could happen in Yeongdong? On one hand, it's exciting to be in charge of this sort of investigation, but on the other, it pains me to see such things happen. What a way to welcome me home. Ah. Okay, so I think this will be a good stopping point for tonight. Couldn't stop. Yeah. Yeah, this feels like a good stopping point for tonight. So let's go ahead, do that. Check out the flow chart. Wow. Hidden choice. What does that mean? Oh, we don't want to start that. So far nothing branching yet. This is interesting. It's a slower start than I expected because when I looked it up, it said this game's only supposed to take a few hours, but Sprinkle off. Did Sprinkle off not work? Oh, it's because of the Scrunkle Pats. Duh. I was like, why is that not working? It's because Scrunkle Pats needs to go off. Yeah, interesting. It's been a bit of a slow start, but I'm imagining that now that we're here at the actual Murdar. Yeah, there were a few tangents, weren't there? But I imagine that it'll pick up a bit now that it's actually going. So let me see what's going on. Oh, Suhai's streaming tonight. I haven't seen her in a while. Yeah, I hope you guys were kind of able to like learn a bit from them. Um, because it's fun being able to see like what do I know and like what can I talk about and stuff like that. So we're gonna pop over Suhai's stream. Yeah, and I'll see you guys. We're finally gonna finish Metal Gear Solid 2 next week. By the way, that's that Tuesday. Tuesday, it's happening. We're gonna fight Solidus. We're gonna beat up our dad, and we're gonna see how it ends. So do please look forward to that. I'm looking forwards to it. It should be fun. Yeah, thanks for stopping by tonight, everyone. Let me get the raid queued up, and I will see you guys next week. Wahoo! But that button didn't work.